Stevens Point, they are hunting. They're hunting Oshkosh. They're hunting Platteville. That's why they're the Pointers.
Depends on the sport, I think. Football, I think it might be a little bit the opposite at the given time.
Yeah, but
is there a lot of
they had a great run at hoops in the 80s and 90s with the Bennett boys.
Jack Bennett, yep. Is that a hunting area? Like, I know you're from the Wood County region, so that's not, it's sort of in that general vicinity. Is there a lot of hunting there? Like, is that why they would be the Pointers?
All right, don't say hunting.
Hunting.
It's
hunting?
Just not. That's not you, man. There's
to
hunting everywhere, Jason. I mean, obviously, you don't hunt in cities, but there's hunting. You have trees. You have water. You have vegetation. You have hunting. Okay.
Did you just Tausch explain that to me? Is that what happened there?
I mean,
I can't wait
just
to ask you about the draft.
Term hunting, it's. I don't know what the right word is. It's just wrong.
Okay, Stevie. I'm much more apt to talk about Stevie Pointer, which is the name of the mascot of the Pointers here at UWSP.edu.
So somebody gave you a free T-shirt. Pointers. Is that how that goes?
Yeah, I'm friends with the former athletic director there. Regardless,
okay.
As much as I would love to talk about the Pointers all day, it's not Minnesota. It's UW-Stevens Point.
So it's interesting that you're rocking Minnesota gear because I was listening last week, and I don't know, Jesse, were you ever able to secure that audio that I threw out to you but from Louis Riddick?
No.
Okay. Well, he was on Get Up last week, and I thought he said something real interesting about this quarterback class and what we're seeing with the draft, and everybody is assuming that the Minnesota Vikings are going to move up. They let Kirk Cousins go. They don't really have – they get Sam Darnold kind of on a one-year bridge dude to whomever they're going to end up getting. And his point was, if I'm one of these 6 rookie quarterbacks that are potentially going to be first-round picks, there is no better place to go than the Minnesota Vikings. And it got me to start thinking, is that accurate? And then I started wondering, all right, obviously Green Bay is much better positioned from the quarterback spot. Jordan Love, 10 games. He played 17, but really the last 10 is what's gotten us all excited.
Mm-hmm.
You take that out of the equation, which I know you can't, but let's do that here. Minnesota has better offensive weapons than the Green Bay Packers do, outside of the quarterback, as we sit here today.
Who's their running back?
Aaron Jones.
Right, who the Packers didn't want.
No, I don't know if they didn't want him. They didn't want to pay him.
They didn't want him enough to pay him.
You would take, right now, Josh Jacobs over Aaron Jones?
Well, apparently
for
the
1 year?
Packers would.
Well, it's not true. The Packers just wanted Aaron Jones at a price they wanted, and they didn't do it.
So instead they paid a guy $14.6 million.
So let's take our homerishness out of it here.
That's what I was trying to do.
Wide receivers, yeah, we have 5 kids, 5 young players that we like. They got Justin Jefferson and Addison, both ballers, like ballers. Hawkinson is a really good tight end. He's more productive than the 2 guys we have as we sit here today.
Coming off an ACL.
And then you look at, you guys know I am a stan of Darisaw, and I give the Green Bay Packers credit. They got after him last year a couple times. But offensive line-wise, he is a stud left tackle. We don't necessarily know what we're looking at left tackle-wise. Minnesota has a good right tackle. I'd take Zach Tom. I don't know where I'd pick. I think I'd go Green Bay's O-line. But when you look at this whole thing, I thought Louis Riddick brought up a really good point. And for all of us that are poo-pooing the Minnesota Vikings, and I was one of them, I still think they're rebuilding, but they have a coach that's creative. I would much rather, if I'm Caleb Williams, much rather go to the Minnesota Vikings than the Bears. If I'm Jaden Daniels, I'd much rather go to Minnesota than Washington. If I'm J.J. McCarthy, I'd much rather go to the Minnesota Vikings than the New England Patriots.
Why are you doing that with your voice?
If I'm Drake May, I'd much rather go to the Minnesota Vikings. So it's just a reminder again, Minnesota fell off last year when Cousins got hurt. They were bouncing back. I just wonder. We're all crowning it as Green Bay and Detroit, and I'll stand by that. I agree with it. But Minnesota, if they catch lightning and get a young quarterback that's good, their rebuild or reload or whatever you want to call it's going to be a lot better and quicker than I think we are anticipating. We're looking at it as Minnesota's going to stink for a while. Louis Riddick and some of the other folks kind of swayed me a little bit in thinking they do have a lot of talent. They do have a good young coaching staff, and their system is pretty good too. Along with Old Boy as the D coordinator up there, I want to make sure I'm very clear here. Green Bay, I would much rather be where Green Bay is, but the big driver of that is Jordan Love, not necessarily Romeo Doubs and everybody else. Who on earth would take Green Bay's wide receiving core over Minnesota's right now? Nobody.
You're right. Now, it does appear that maybe Justin Jefferson isn't super happy at the moment, right? So that factors in.
Oh, he's at a T-Wolves game, hooting and hollering.
That's nice of him to do that. I'm also looking at the Bears depth chart. They've got DJ Moore. They've got Keenan Allen.
Okay, so you're not, just for the record, you're not comparing DJ Moore to Justin Jefferson.
I'm not, but sure. I think it's important to say that Caleb Williams isn't going into some clown show 2-15 team. The Bears have the first pick, but it's not the Bears' pick. But they won 7 games last year. So they're not god-awful either. They're not your typical number 1 overall pick team. So I don't know if it's that terrible of a situation for them either.
If you're a young quarterback, where would you rather be? Minnesota or Chicago?
I wasn't quite done yet. Would you rather have DeAndre?
Your voice trailed off. That usually makes me think that you're...
Or you interrupted. Would you rather have DeAndre Swift? Would you rather have Aaron Jones? Or would you rather have Josh Jacobs?
Aaron Jones.
That's pretty amazing for, again, a team that the Packers decided that they would lowball him to the point where they didn't want him.
I'm not saying I want him for the next 5 years. You're asking me for 2024. Aaron Jones.
Okay.
Is anyone arguing that point?
Yeah, Goody is.
Kinda.
You're a guy. The Goodinator.
He went young.
Which, by the way, Greg, great.
Yeah, Greg, you crushed it, man. See, you guys were just willing to say, Greg, great job. All this. I think Greg knows. Sometimes you got to push a little bit. Greg brought it with the Goodinator, and look at the Goodinator. I think good. There he's smiling. Much better.
Much happier.
Much happier because the consternation on his face off of last year's draft made me wonder. Look at that consternation. Now he's happy. He's like, I am at top of the world.
Make sure we tweet these out.
I'm looking for. Yeah.
For people listening on terrestrial radio. My point about your Goodinator demands, much like your Louis Riddick. I sent one random text to Jesse, and now I expect that audio to be ready. You make a lot of requests. I just want you to show appreciation.
I made the request last week, and I followed up. So I'm not mad at Jesse, just for the record, but let's not act like this is like completely out of the blue. Baby blue. Amfam blue.
Amfam blue. So you're saying...
Vita blue.
So you're saying that take the quarterback out of the equation, and you think the Vikings have the best offensive group, better than the Packers, better than the Bears, better than the Lions, and it's all about how you feel about your quarterback that decides how you feel about your team in the NFC North.
Well, obviously, we all know, and we're going to find out Thursday, how much people salivate for quarterbacks and how vital it is. So to just poo-poo it and say, well, the reason Minnesota is going to be 3rd or 4th in the division is because they don't have a quarterback. That is true. Can that change quickly? Yes, because they have more experienced, more proven players at skill positions than the Green Bay Packers, Chicago Bears. I don't necessarily know if I'd agree with the Detroit Lions, but I guess my point on this whole thing is we've all already crowned it the Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers division. I will still do that But I remember 2 years ago crowning the Green Bay Packers winning the division, and they ended up third. Things change quickly, and I think I've slept on the Minnesota Vikings maybe a little bit more than others. And when Louis Riddick on Get Up brought that point, I wanted to bring it to our audience because I find it interesting. I find the whole thing with all these draft picks that they've accumulated, if they don't go, and if Sam Darnold can actually play, they might actually be in a better spot than if they give up a haul to get J.J. McCarthy at 5. That makes me, if I'm a Viking fan, I would be a little skittish. But the bottom line is Minnesota's done a very good job of acquiring skill players and building an offensive line around whomever's going to be that quarterback. And that's going to give them a chance to be successful a lot quicker than I think we all, after Kirk Cousins left, had kind of said, see you later, Minnesota. And when you brought the purple shirt out, that reminded me, and that's where I'm going this morning.
Go Vikings or Pointers. I am curious, though.
Who do you think is going to finish higher? The Bears? If you had to pick right now, are you going Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago, Minnesota? Or what are you going right now as we sit here on April 23rd?
Yes, I'm going in that order. And by the way, the Lions personnel on offense, I'm looking at their depth chart. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Good player.
Jamison Williams.
Good player.
Taylor Decker is their left tackle. Frank Ragnow is their center.
Mm-hmm.
Penei Sewell is their right tackle. They've got a pretty good offensive line. And, oh, by the way, Sam Laporta, while we like the Packers guys, I would have to say that at this point Sam Laporta is better than either of the Packers tight ends.
Correct. I'd agree.
So all 4 of these teams, you could argue, have some pretty good front-line offensive personnel.
I would think as we sit here right now, the NFC North will be the most competitive division in the entire NFC as we sit here today.
The only thing I would caution is that these are all great depth charts right now on April 23rd. How is your depth? Because all your guys...
Aren't they going to get better in 4 days?
Not when guys start getting hurt in games during the season, right? And so if you have a deep group that, how many games did Justin Jefferson miss last year when they lost all their games? A ton, right?
Yep.
So these are great on paper or on the internet, but you better have a pretty good group of deep receivers and running backs. And right now, the Packers have a deep wide receiver group. They may not have a Justin Jefferson, but they've got guys that if something happens to Christian Watson, they have guys who can play. And I'm not sure that all these teams have good depth at, say, receiver.
Would
or
any Packer fan right now, and I don't know who's Minnesota's third wideout, if we went with our top 3 versus their top 3, is any Packer fan saying, give me Green Bay's?
Without being homers?
Nobody would, right?
Their top 3 wide receivers
is Osgood still there?
Osgood, Schlaughter, Kane, and N'Keal Harry.
Okay, he's not one of their top 3.
Brandon Powell.
Yeah, maybe Green Bay's might be better.
Well, Addison and Jefferson are both really good.
Agreed.
Yeah, Addison, I don't know if it matters who Minnesota's 3 is. Addison and Jefferson, I think, are that much better than the 1, 2 in Green Bay.
And I don't think you'd get a consensus who Green Bay'd even put out on the list. You wouldn't get a consensus. I think the only one that I know for sure would be on the list would be Jaden Reed. And he's going into his second year. Mm-hmm. Christian Watson I would put on there, but I think a lot of Packer fans wouldn't. So I guess I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but I think the fact that Green Bay is in this position, we're all excited about it, but we do have to remember nothing is given. And I think Minnesota's depth, where they're at, Chicago's depth, I still, if you had made me pick, I like the fact, kind of what Jason was just saying, the depth and the injury potential. You lose Justin Jefferson, Minnesota's. We lose Christian Watson, Dontavian Wicks steps up, Jaden Reed steps up. So that's always, and that's been a fascinating thing all offseason for me to see how this thing is going to shake out, who's going to step up at the 1, and how Green Bay's skilled players are viewed. And I think we'll find out a lot about how that is viewed with the first 2 days of the draft, how Goody views it. Because if he steers clear of wideouts and or tight ends, you know he views these guys in a very high light. If he goes and takes a flyer on somebody in the second round at wideout or tight end, it tells you we need to upgrade and we don't necessarily have everything figured out like I think a lot of fans do.
We will continue this conversation. If you want to chime in, I didn't realize that when I wore my Pointers shirt today that it would prompt this discussion. I was kind of looking forward to the yellow Post-it note of who you're writing.
Oh no! I still, that is a great idea, and
we'll
we stole
it.
Yeah, we'll
do
stole
it later.
So it's a great idea.
But I think this is really interesting, and I would like to take some calls and texts on it. 844-770-3776. If you're going to ask for calls, key component, give the phone number.
Well, it turns out we didn't even have to. And you know what, Jesse? Just like, you want to take us out? Yep, I'll do it. And does Jesse get in my ear and say, "No, I Trumaned up. I screwed that up. I don't know why I didn't."
I wasn't here.
But thank you to Ace for delivering the goods.
Ace Frehley?
My guy.
Love it.
Ace in Mount Horrible.
All right, 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. So the question is, whose offensive skill group would you rather have in the NFC right now? Because to Louis Riddick's point, which we didn't get to hear because we don't have the audio, that whoever ends up being the quarterback in Minnesota is walking into a pretty good situation
Really
in
good
his
situation.
opinion.
Yep.
844-770-3776. That's the talk and text line. Speaking of texts, I'm looking at the text from Gina Della. 0% for 60 months, up to 60 months, or up to 24 months of no payments, no interests, no money down.
Oh, Jason, you're behind the curve. We got a new one.
What?
It is now even better. We're going to turn your ordinary space into something extraordinary with brand new Pella windows and doors. The luxurious look, the sleek design, and the custom colors available are guaranteed to give your home the extra pop to entertain and to keep you comfortable. It is the best of both worlds. Plus, getting the perfect windows and doors for your home, it's never been easier. Right now, I'm not going to screw this up today. Get 0% interest for up to 60 months.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's up to, you're right, Jason. Up to 60 months. I don't know if that means 59, but up to 60 months. Take ownership, and you have until May 10th. We've extended it out, so now when May 1 comes, I'm not going to have to sweat the new read. It's going to go all the way to May 10, which I'm excited about. Take ownership of your living space and make it a place worth living with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
All right, 844-770-3776. Now, a lot is going to change, as Tausch pointed out, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Teams are going to add to their rosters. I don't know if the Vikings will add another offensive weapon or not. I would predict that if you're looking at the Packers with their 5 picks in the first 91, that a skill position offensive player is not likely. Offensive lineman, safety, linebacker, edge rusher, interior defensive lineman, corner, all options. I don't see necessarily a skill position player being picked there. But as of today, April 23rd, 2024, the year of our Lord, which of the 4 NFC teams do you think has the best skill position group on paper?
Is it possible the Packers are ranked 4th in that group?
That's why I'm framing it that way, my friend.
Great frame job.
Thanks.
You're like Mackie Sasser back in the 80s, framing them
the ball's
pitches.
off the corner, but I brought it back in. 844-77...
Mike Sosha.
Terry Steinbach. I love it when we do old school
Lance
catchers.
Parrish.
You love your Lance Parrish. I'm more of a Gary Carter guy.
Steinbach.
Big Gary Carter guy. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. We'll get to your calls and your texts next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. Keep the good times rolling every Sunday with GKB founder and CEO Craig Karmazin on Sunday Karma.
Everyone's using Daniel Jones as why Jordan Love's going to get paid all that money. I think it's the opposite. I think it's what you just hit.
Right.
I think that it's more of like, hey, be careful. Don't just jump into paying someone unless you're sure.
Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin.
Is that how you manage?
That is not how you manage, but that might be the way that the Green Bay Packers organization goes about their business.
It's the way the Green Bay Packers...
we know they go about their business like that.
Sundays from 10 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft Greystone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft Greystone from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You've heard me talk about the results mentality has had on my life, but don't just take it from me. Jason has had success too, thanks to mentality.
My only regret is I didn't do it sooner. Knowing once again I've gotten the treatments done and continuing, I do feel, stuff does hurt a little bit more, but I'm 40, in my 40s, and that's going to happen. But again, the energy levels, it is above and beyond. Again, I'm back in that age where I'm like, this is amazing.
Get started today at lowtusa.com.
Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a must-play every golf season. Wild Rock Golf features championship golf in the heart of Wisconsin. Wild Rock, a Herdston Fry masterpiece that's cut from the natural beauty of the Wisconsin Dells and offers stunning views from elevated tee boxes. Wild Rock presents spectacular greens that roll fast and true. Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a unique gem that offers a challenge to avid golfers of all abilities. Book your tee time today for this must-play at wildrockgolf.com, wildrockgolf.com.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart, located at 16th and National in Milwaukee. National Liquor Mart is packed with deals for all your beverage needs, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily.
A tone-setting first half from Damian Lillard in Game 1 for the Bucks against the Pacers.
Now it's Miles Turner on Lillard. He's going to launch one anyway. And he drills it. Damian Lillard has not met a defender that can slow him down tonight. He is automatic.
35 first-half points from Lillard as the Bucks win 109-94 without Giannis to take the 1-0 series lead over the Pacers. 23 points from Chris Middleton in the win as well as the Bucks hit 14 three-pointers in the game, allowing just 8 to the Pacers. Game 2 happens Tuesday night right here in Milwaukee.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by National Liquor Mart.
The Bucks are back in the postseason for the 8th consecutive year, and it's time to fear the deer once again. We want you to be a part of the electrifying action and rally your support for the team. For all things Bucks playoffs, presented by BMO, go to bucks.com/playoffs. Stay up to date on information about team send-offs and events around the city. Get the latest updates from the team. Shop the hottest gear from the Bucks Pro Shop and snag your tickets too. Head to bucks.com/playoffs for all the details.
Cousins Subs wants to make you a VIP. On Friday, May 10th, Donald Driver and Jordan Love will be hosting the annual Green Bay charity softball game at Fox City Stadium in Appleton, Wisconsin. And this year, Cousins and Double D are teaming up to offer you a chance to be their VIP guest. The VIP winner will win a package that includes a meet and greet with Donald, VIP seating, food and beverage, and Cousins Subs for a year. Enter daily at cousinsubs.com/softball. Now through April 30th. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Again, things are about to change. Like, however you feel about the Bears' skill position players, who I think they got a pretty good group.
A lot better than I thought, yeah.
DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, Herbert. Like, they've got a pretty good group. But at 9, they could add one of the best wide receivers in this draft, right? In addition to Caleb Williams. So this is why you can't, and I'm not saying Goody would ever do this anyway, but this is why you can't rest on your laurels. Because everybody else is going to have opportunities to make their teams better, too. We'll see what they end up doing. But I am curious, like, I feel like we're pendulum swinging again. Because, as you said, as we were going into the break, could the Packers be 4th?
They could be.
And at the same time, we were having conversations last year about how great it is that they don't have a clear-cut 1 because nobody could say, oh, that's the guy we got to take away.
Yeah, we've discussed that. I've kind of went back and forth. I've said I want...
Like a pendulum.
No. The pendulum was last football season. October, burrowed into the ground. December, Kansas City, we're up at the top. In this regard, I've always said I want the guy. I want to have the guy. The Devontae, Greg Jennings, Jordy. I've always said that's, I think, much better. Would I love to have Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Wicks, or do I want someone to emerge like Justin Jefferson? Mm-hmm. I want a Justin Jefferson. I want one of these guys to be that guy. Mm-hmm. So that's where I think when you want to go pendulum, and this isn't this guy's got a name, like some 32-year-old washed-up dude. That's not Justin Jefferson. You can make an argument, is Keenan Allen still the same player? I don't know. Yep. I would take Green Bay's skill over Chicago's skill. For sure I would. But I would have to really think the Detroit Lions piece of it. You can make a good argument for any of these teams outside of probably Chicago. I don't think you could put Chicago as 1 and feel like you're actually being realistic. And I don't know if you're just going off of production, not potential. I don't know if you can put the Green Bay Packers at 1. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I think we probably need to take a closer look at the Lions depth chart. I think we're probably short shrifting them, right? Because I think they have the best running back tandem of any team in the division. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams and Sam Laporta is a pretty good triumvirate of 2 wide receivers and a tight end. And maybe it's because we're both not huge Jared Goff fans, maybe that's why we're not appreciative of that group. But again, I'm eager to see what these depth charts are going to look like a week from now when they've made these picks.
But that's not going to really change it. We're going to be, if Green Bay gets somebody or if somebody else, that's fine. But they're not going to have... It
changed a lot last year with the Packers specifically.
After they started playing, not in June, not in July. It was October, November when it changed for me. So I think when you look at this, I think realistically Green Bay's 3rd at the best without the quarterback component. Minnesota and Detroit, I think, are both in a position to be 1-2, and then I think Green Bay's better than Chicago when you look at the big picture of it.
Jesse, I know we've gotten a bunch of texts. One that appeared to start with "Thank you, Jason," which is always one of my favorite places to start. And then there's one up on the screen as well. What do you got for us?
Let's go with the one we're posting here from the 414. I'm not sure why you're discounting the Minnesota Vikings. They are the Packers going into last year, only better. If Cousins doesn't go down, there's no way Green Bay finishes ahead of them last year.
Agreed.
And Jordan Love has played 7 good games. Jury is still out. Minnesota could easily finish 2nd in the division.
Well, easily strong. Because here's the deal. Quarterback matters. And
yes.
Do I think that Jordan Love is going to fall off a cliff? No. I think he's going to get better. Minnesota's starting over with either Sam Darnold or whatnot. So if Green Bay does not finish ahead of Minnesota, it will be a very disappointing season from the Packer fan standpoint. Very disappointing.
Just a reminder, because we reset our text line a while back, if you're texting in, make sure you include who you are so we can refer to you as something other than in the 414. That's a good text. It makes sense to me. But the reason we're discounting the Vikings is because Sam Darnold is their quarterback right now.
Correct.
So that's not if anything, spurred on by my UW Stevens Point Pointer shirt, we're praising the Vikings for what they have on offense outside of the quarterback. But if you're a Vikings fan, and we can call Judd Zolgad or we can call some of our friends in Minneapolis, are Vikings fans excited right now?
Yes.
About where they're at with if they have Sam Darnold as their quarterback?
No, they're excited
about the draft.
They're excited about getting their quarterback.
Yeah.
That's why I'm discounting the Minnesota Vikings.
Right. Which, by the way, all fan bases, when they're about to get a new quarterback in the draft, are excited. The Jets were excited when they got Zach Wilson. The Bears were excited when they got Mitch Trubisky. Just because you're getting the new quarterback doesn't mean he's going to be good enough. And we'll see. This J.J. McCarthy phenomenon is fascinating to me. Like, I was talking to Bulaga last night on the Homer Hour, and he was talking about what the Wolverines did to his Hawkeyes in the Big Ten championship game. How many passes did J.J. McCarthy even throw in that game? Like, they didn't beat Iowa because J.J. McCarthy was a top-tier quarterback. They, ran the ball down their throats. I'll be very curious to see how this plays out at that position. Let's take a quick call before we go to break. 844-770-3776. Let's go to Mike in Franklin. Mike, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I guess I just wanted to weigh in. I'll take the Packers' 6 receivers that they have because they're all pretty good athletes, I believe, as opposed to Minnesota's just got the 2 guys. They got Thunder and Lightning, and one of those guys go down, they're done. So I think overall, Packers, you heard it here first, Packers are going to finish first in the division. Guaranteed.
Guaranteed?
Chuck Barkley, Guaranteed. They're going to finish first in the division. They're pretty good. And Detroit will probably finish second. That's my
Yeah, I think
Laporta's good.
He is.
Yeah.
Their receivers are good, and if I'm Detroit, I'm not uber excited about Jared Goff, and I don't know if they're going to pay him the dollars that they're going to have to keep him for 5 or 6 more years. Thanks for the call. I think everybody is thinking Detroit, Green Bay, in some order, and then everybody else. And I think my little thing here was, I agree with that for now, but I do think that if Minnesota can get it right, and if Sam Darnold's even good, Minnesota can be a lot better than what we thought. And I look past that. Thank you to Louis Riddick for reminding me that maybe we need to look at this picture a little more whole than just saying, oh, it's these 2 and everybody else. Well, the NFL has a fun way of not just having it play out that way.
Okay, I'm glad you thanked Louis Riddick because I thought for a second that you were going to thank me for wearing my Viking shirt. That's not a Viking shirt. What I will thank you for is for this wonderful partnership with Johnson & Sons Paving. Now, would I like to get my driveway redone while you're working on the crew? Sure. But more importantly, I can't wait to see you on the crew and see how that goes.
Yeah, and if you're looking for a visit with Old T, you're in luck. Johnson & Sons Paving, they've invited me out to one of their job sites this summer, and that could be with your business. Book an appointment before May 31st, and you can see Old T out there with the experienced crew from Johnson & Sons Paving. Over 2 decades of experience, and we're ready for the challenge that winter has left. You know it's potholes everywhere. You got all that snow plows digging stuff up, and you just see, oh, my tire hit, ba-boom, ba-bam. You want it fixed? Bad aesthetics, damage to your cars. You know what? Get us out there. Get the Johnson & Sons Paving. We will get those asphalt areas patched up or completely replaced with Johnson & Sons. Again, visit johnsonsonspaving.com. You have until the 31st of May to book that appointment. And I think sometime in June or early July, Old T's going to be out there with his boots and with his vest and with his hard hat and with his level. Got our last box that we're going to be opening on Thursday, I think, this week, with everything else that Johnson & Sons has. Go ahead and go to johnsonsonspaving.com to get registered to have us come out and fix your pothole.
We'll continue our discussion about the skill position players in the NFC North. We'll get to more of your calls and texts, 844-770-3776. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcast for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's. Flavor is our family's business.
Each day there's a sliver of time when you can almost breathe freely, and you feel better when you can. But you know that eventually that sliver of time closes, along with your nose. It puts a damper on your day every day. So you pop a pill or you take a spray to try to get that relief back. But it's always short-lived. And all the while in your efforts to give yourself relief, you may be making your nasal breathing problems worse. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and a simple in-office procedure from Advent called balloon sinuplasty could be the fast and convenient answer to your breathing triangle problems. Advent has been a leader in this procedure, which can be hard to find elsewhere. It's simple, there's little to no downtime, and it really can be life-changing.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions.
Results may vary.
The Bog in Saukville is Ozaki County's best golf experience. 18 championship holes designed by legendary golfer Arnold Palmer cater to golfers of all skill levels. Settled amongst over 250 acres of beautiful private land, the Bog offers a truly unforgettable golf experience. Play the finest greens of Wisconsin, and after your round, have a signature cocktail while enjoying our Friday fish fry from the clubhouse overlooking the 18th green. It's time to golf, Wisconsin. It's time to enjoy the Bog.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Alex Strofe. Pack yourself in for ESPN Wisconsin's Draft Night. The draft is almost here, and ESPN Wisconsin is bringing its picks straight to you. Join us for the first round live from the Q Club of Wisconsin on Thursday, April 25th. Get ready for an unforgettable night packed with draft insights and insider info as the Green and Gold reloads for 2024. Hear from Wilde and Tausch, Homer and Chewy, Brian Bulaga, Gary Ellerson, John Anderson, Rob Domofsky, and more. Be there for ESPN Wisconsin's Draft Night, brought to you by the Q Club of Wisconsin.
Discover the difference at findhigherlove.com/CBD. Higher Love Cannabis Company is the only cultivator in the UP offering organic, clean, green certified products. That means quality you can trust every time. With 7 locations across the UP, including Menominee, Norway, and Ironwood, finding your higher love is easier than ever before. And for our friends in Green Bay, Higher Love is less than an hour away. Kindness starts with you. Experience Higher Love today. Visit findhigherlove.com/CBD and follow them on social media at Find Higher Love.
Multiple sclerosis is an unpredictable, often disabling disease of the central nervous system. We need to show support to people with MS, and one way is through Walk MS, which is brand new in 2024. We embrace and are committed to bringing our entire MS community together, representative of all the various dimensions of our community, so that everyone feels at home and supported by the National MS Society. The excitement is building for the new Walk MS. Come see the community come together like never before. Visit walkms.org today and plan to join us around Wisconsin.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tausch here for my friends at Kohler Services. If you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, pay 0 interest for 12 months and get a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast, professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Give me one reason to steer, and I'll turn right back around.
Before we get to our Portuguese-Canadian correspondent, a tweet from the ranter. which we always let him fast pass when he's got some insights.
He's a potential Hoffer.
Reporting live on location from Minnesota, the Packer answer is.
Okay. Love having boots on the ground.
They are mildly excited about a quarterback.
Mildly.
Well, right, because if I was a Vikings fan, and I'm thinking they're going to trade up and take J.J. McCarthy, I'm not sure how excited I am about that.
It is gone! No, he missed it!
Like, I'd be reticent or I'd be concerned that we're going to get it wrong.
You're a negative Nelly, though, too.
I'm not. That's not true.
That's very negative.
That
could also be excited about having.
Yes.
I'm going to get it right. I'm going to get it right.
Okay, well, the ranter is the one who's there, and he says they're mildly excited.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you're being negative Nelly, not Packer ranter. He's telling us what he's seen.
I'm telling you.
Oh, I'm just nervous. We might get it wrong at the 5 spot. Well, you know what? The San Francisco 49ers got it wrong at the 3 spot, gave up 3 first-round picks, and they're still in NFC Championship games and Super Bowls.
With a quarterback you think stinks.
I feel like that's the outlier.
Yeah, it's an outlier, for sure.
If I may finish the tweet. Reporting live on location from Minnesota, they are mildly excited about a QB, but are not excited about much else, including the ongoing fear of a Jefferson trade. Yeah, I can see that. And mild excitement would... Do you think Bears fans are mildly excited about Caleb Williams?
No, I think they're very excited.
Yes, exactly.
Uber excited, some would say.
Let's go to the phones, 844-770-3776. Let's go to Ricardo. Ricardo, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Good morning, my favorite teams. How are we doing today, boys?
Have you booked your ticket for the opener in Brazil?
Well, speaking about, I was actually going to mention that as my last point.
Oh, sorry.
I haven't booked, but I need Tausch. Tausch, I know you got connection to the team. Mm-hmm. Listen, I got family in Brazil. I can translate. I can be free. Just give me a ticket. Put in a name for me, man. Hook it up. Be like, hey, I know a guy.
Just don't. If you're gonna be the
Jason,
if you're gonna be the translator,
don't step on my joke. You're gonna step on my joke, aren't you?
I'm gonna say, if you're gonna be your translator, don't be wagering on the game.
All right. Yeah, he took the joke. So yeah, the Packers will probably be very leery of translators. Ricardo.
I don't know. I know you're irritated now that I took the joke, but at the same time, you have to admit.
He said Tausch, not Jason. But all right, Ricardo, what do you got? What do you think on this whole deal?
I think that us in Wisconsin have a tendency to be afraid of success. It's okay to say we are the best team in the division. The only position group that we aren't the top in our division is offensive line. And that's slightly because I think Detroit has a little bit more of a consistent both running and passing offensive line compared to us. But we still got like a top 10 line in the NFL. Don't give me this nonsense about Minnesota, about Jefferson and all these guys. Listen, we have a 6-headed wide receiver monster. I'll take 6 wide receiver. I'll take the Avengers over Thanos any day of the week and twice on Sundays, okay? When we have our 6 guys rolling
it's a superhero with reference.
Ends, don't give me this nonsense about Minnesota. Listen, and now with our now with our new defensive coordinator, we don't have Joe Barry, 8 yards off the ball, let him do whatever they want anymore. We will be able to shut that down. We have the weapons for that. So we will show everybody that Minnesota is not as great as everyone makes them seem. Their offensive line is not that good. Their running back is on one leg. I love the guy. He's going to be a Packers Hall of Famer. He's 1 hit away from being out for like 8 weeks. Guys, we were overhyping Minnesota. It's okay to tell everybody, hey, we're that good. We're the top dogs. And guess what? Look at the volunteer workouts. Our team believes it. They all showed up to work out. It hasn't happened in how long? They're believing. They're young. They're hungry. We're going to be literally up there with the echelons of the teams, guys. Be proud. Let it be known. We're here to win. Let's do this. And we got the draft coming. Woody's going to work. Let him cook. Let the chef cook, boys.
Well, let the chef cook.
Apparently they like green and gold.
Hey, did Ricardo walk out? Was that his walk-off line?
Yeah, he walked off. It's a good call.
He is still here.
All right, I just wanted, since he brought up the Avengers, obviously Ricardo's got some knowledge of superheroes. How do we feel about the Gutenator in the Marvel universe?
The Gutenator? Oh, he's Nick Fury. He's the one who get everybody together behind the scenes. He's the one pulling the strings that never gets credit, but he's the one. He's the one pulling all the strings.
He gets plenty of credit on this show.
From some of us.
Oh, yes, he does.
Thanks, Ricardo. We appreciate you. So, Tausch, that was a counterpoint from Ricardo.
Yeah. First off, we're not talking anything about defense. Like, that's not part of the equation. I think we all anticipate with Hafley and the aggressiveness that they're going to be better. Will we see that? I don't know. I hope so. But I am a Packer fan. I think most everyone here is. Not Jason, but I think most everybody else. Uh-huh. And I even have to look at this objectively and say, yes, I'm excited about the depth. I'm excited that we have a bunch of young players that are ascending and are going in the right direction. Love it. But I also have to look at what the Detroit Lions and Minnesota Vikings. That doesn't mean I think the Lions are going to be better or that the Minnesota Vikings are going to be better. I like Jordan Love as a quarterback over all of these quarterbacks in this division, including Caleb Williams and Goff. Mm-hmm. Even though he's only played 17, 8, whatever, how many games, and how he played the back end of the season is what's got me in this point. But I can't sit here in good faith and tell you that Justin Jefferson and Addison, what they've done, that their two or top three aren't more accomplished and better as we sit here today. I think they are.
Yeah, they are. There's no opinion involved there. I mean, you look at their numbers, and I understand Justin Jefferson missed a bunch of time last year, but that allowed us to see how good Addison is, who they drafted in the first round. He's a first-round talent, and he played like it. So I understand your point. I just am curious if there's more people like Ricardo, or if you're just in a really small minority to even suggest where the Packers might be. Jesse, give me a text real quick.
Nick in Minneapolis with boots on the ground. We got a big Minneapolis correspondent.
We're big on the boots.
Yeah. I have a lot of Viking fan friends here. I was told by a few different Vikings fans that they would have to work to get themselves excited if the pick is J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah?
But if it's Drake May, they would be ecstatic.
I don't know. I think the Drake May pick... Too much Trubisky.
A little Trubisky-ian?
Yeah, I feel Trubisky.
Same school.
So, listen, young quarterbacks are a crapshoot. We all think we know, and especially early on, you shouldn't play him. So even if Minnesota gets McCarthy, they should play Darnold for the year. Let him learn, and no McCarthy until Thanksgiving, just like I don't think Caleb Williams should play until Thanksgiving. But these teams are desperate, and they're hungry, and they're thirsty for great quarterback play. We feel like we have that. And when you have that, you're so far ahead of the rest of your division that even though I can objectively look at skill position and say, yeah, those guys are pretty good. They might be better than Green Bay. The great equalizer in all of this and why the Green Bay Packers have been uber successful for 30-some-odd years is because we have gotten that position right. And when you do that, everybody else flourishes. If you had Sean Clifford last year, and I know everybody here loves Sean Clifford, or Kirk Benkert, who Jason had crowned.
That's not true.
You think these receivers are all going to be feeling the same? You're going to feel the same way about those receivers if it was Benke or Cliffy? The answer is no. Jordan Love put us in that position, and that's why I think we're all vibing the way we are and excited about this season and not having the angst that Minnesota Viking fans have or that the Bears fans have had for 20-some-odd years because we feel like we got it right, and they are still scrambling.
We'll put a bow on this conversation coming up. We want to remind you, Game 2 of Bucks-Pacers is tonight at Fiserv Forum, and if you're watching the game on television, I'm guessing you'll see David Gruber sitting in his courtside seats instead of Sydney and I, which was uncomfortable for me. Speaking of uncomfortable, if you're in a situation where you need legal advice because you've been injured, that can be an uncomfortable process, but not with Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. That's all it takes. 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666. Go to the website, gruber-law.com. Find out more about the firm, about all the great lawyers that are there, about everything that David and his team do in the community. Gruber Law Offices, one call. That's all. More next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Even when you think you know what's going on, you can never be too sure.
Where I don't think I've ever been concerned about, well, if I eat this life, where am I going to be in 45 minutes?
Packers, nonsense, chaos.
Careful, Gabe. You will get there.
Yeah.
Okay?
Youth arrogance.
We'll get there.
Put it on the list. Are you ready
Talk
to get down?
to Keith.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Beautify your entertainment space with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hi, this is Gina Della from Pella. Turn your ordinary space into something extraordinary with brand new Pella windows. Plus, getting the perfect windows and doors for your home has never been easier. Right now, get 0% interest for up to 36 months, or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months if you book before April 30th. Take ownership of your living space and make it a place worth living with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
What are we doing today?
One of the employee owners has an idea.
Who is it?
Casey Goodson.
Well, hi, you must be Casey Goodson.
That's me. Casey has been with Kessler's for 22 years and became an owner 12 years ago.
We're excited to hear your idea, Casey.
I call it the One Collection.
But we've had special collections in the past.
What are you saying?
Casey, I think Rick is saying that this can't be the one collection because we've offered special collections in the past.
I'm not saying it's the first collection. It's a special collection of engagement rings for the woman that you know is the one. The one for you. The one forever. What's in it? Incredibly special rings for incredibly special women.
How much?
Most of them are between $725 and $2,800. I like it.
I like it.
Me too.
When you have found the one, you'll find her ring waiting patiently for you to come and pick it up at Kessler's.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Suit up for the $800,000 Sports Car Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. April through May, score free play, cash, one of 4 new Toyota GR86s, or a new Toyota Supra. Play with your club card to earn entries, 5 times the entries on drawing days, and when the Milwaukee Brewers play at home. Got what it takes? Slugger, only at Potawatomi. For more details, visit pacebig.com/sportscar. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a must-play every golf season. Wild Rock Golf features championship golf in the heart of Wisconsin. Wild Rock, a Herdston Fry masterpiece that's cut from the natural beauty of the Wisconsin Dells and offers stunning views from elevated tee boxes. Wild Rock presents spectacular greens that roll fast and true. Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a unique gem that offers a challenge to avid golfers of all abilities. Book your tee time today for this must-play at wildrockgolf.com, wildrockgolf.com.
If you're looking to try something new, John Everett from Road America joins us to tell you all about Road America.
Tickets start as low as $30 for lots of events. Kids 16 and under get in free. You can move around the facility and be at different levels and different locations to where you can get the most immersive experience of motorsports anywhere in the world. People cannot really equate it to anything else in North America. And on top of that, you can come and you can camp. You can come and you can meet family and friends. There's lots of things to do, from our paddock shop to our concessions to all sorts of different fun entertainment options. Everything you probably can imagine, from some of the best mac and cheese to pulled pork barbecue to ice cream sandwiches, you name it, we've got it on different menus throughout the facility. So if there's something that you like, from maybe you've seen it at the state fair to some family favorites, we've got it. Roasted corn on the cob, the melt greased grilled cheeseburger, you pick your passion and it's there in one of the turns at Road America.
For full event info and ticket info, visit roadamerica.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Missed any of the show? Find us on Wisconsin On Demand wherever you get your podcasts. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
We'll put a bow on this with one more text, and then I know that Draft Day is a divisive film. I saw someone earlier, maybe last week, critiquing the accuracy of it. Dude, we get it. It's not real life. The three second round
picks. It might be more real life than we think.
Yeah.
We'll see what Washington does. If I'm a Commanders fan, I'm freaking out. A lot of rumoring going on. Jaden Daniels don't want to play there. He didn't like how he was treated by the Commanders, and they got a new general manager. They might be looking at the message boards and listening to sports talk, and they might say, "Oh my God, we have to get him, but he doesn't want to play here." So,
nobody went to his birthday party. And a meddlesome owner, I might add as well, which is not unlike in
Washington's got a new owner,
right? Who is very involved.
I don't know if he is. I think he hired people.
He was sitting in the meetings at the Combine, so I think he's pretty involved. Maybe little David Teppery.
Let me tell
perhaps.
you something.
Old Joshy.
He's definitely a lot better than what they had. I don't care what.
No argument there. I certainly wasn't comparing him to Snyder. Jesse, you got one more text for us so we can get to our Vontae Mack Post-it note?
Grant and Madison, what if the Gootinator takes a wide receiver in the first round just to stick it to Aaron Rodgers one last time?
Come on, the Gootinator is not. He doesn't do things for personal reasons.
I wouldn't say that, but what if he does end up deciding there's a really good wide receiver that is above their expectations that fell to them at 25?
Well, first off, I feel fairly confident. Jason, you would know this better than I would. I don't think they're thinking about Aaron Rodgers anymore.
They are definitely not. We might be, but they're not.
I think that ship has sailed, and the Green Bay Packers, my guy to Gootinator, TKO. It was a blasphemous TKO the way it's shaken out with Jordan Love's development and with the draft picks that they were able to secure from old Joey D. So when you knock somebody out, you shake their hand later and you move on with your life. You're not sitting there saying, have you gotten all your faculties back? No, it's the deal. There you go. You think Mike Tyson 5 days later was calling Spinks? No, he's getting Diet Pepsi deals and looking at finding a way to go to Tokyo and getting knocked out by Buster Douglas. That's what he is doing. So the Aaron Rodgers component to this, I will be shocked if they do that, but I can assure you it will not be because Brian Gutekunst is thinking, boy, this is going to piss off Aaron Rodgers. If he's doing that, he should be fired immediately.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Now, if one of these top three, if somehow Harrison Jr. drops to 25,
oh my gosh,
you take him. And that's where you do your whatever. What does draft day say? I'll take him no matter what. That's what I would say.
Vontae Mack, no matter what. All right, we'll get to our who is that player for us in the 2024 draft for the Packers. We'll get to that. Plus, Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike scheduled to appear. Tausch, before we can get to any of that, you need to tell us about Fortria.
Oh, I do indeed. And you know what? I know the draft is in Detroit. You're probably not going. But if you want to get to Brazil for the Packer game, or if you want to go to any of those games, you want to get a little extra spending cash, Fortria has you covered. They have a couple of different studies for you to grab a little extra cash. And this one, I love this one. A little variant to you. Healthy men, age 18 to 50, BMI 18 to 32. The study involves up to 8 to 15 nights, one stay. And it all depends. You go a little longer, you get a little more cash. Compensation up to $4,853 to $7,772 for your time and participation. You refer a friend, grab another $300 per qualified referral. Go to FortriaClinicalTrials.com. That's Fortria, Fortrea, clinicaltrials.com.
The 10 o'clock hour kicks off in 2 minutes, so stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Norman. NBA fans, listen up. You've got to try Pick 6, the newest fantasy app from DraftKings, an official partner of the NBA. Getting started is simple. Select if a player will have more or less of a certain stat. For example, will a player have more than 1 rebound? Or will a player have less than 3.5 assists? Pick your favorite players and compete for huge cash prizes. Download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app now using code WKTI and take on the competition with your best NBA player picks. Only on DraftKings. Pick 6 with code WKTI. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus in most eligible states. Age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Pick 6 not available in all states. For up-to-date list of states, visit dkng.co/pick6states. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Discover the difference at findhigherlove.com/CBD. Higher Love Cannabis Company is the only cultivator in the UP offering organic, clean green certified products. That means quality you can trust every time. With 7 locations across the UP, including Menominee, Norway, and Ironwood, finding your higher love is easier than ever before. And for our friends in Green Bay, Higher Love is less than an hour away. Kindness starts with you. Experience Higher Love today. Visit findhigherlove.com/CBD and follow them on social media at findhigherlove.
After a season of record-breaking performances and historic moments, this Bucs team is postseason ready, led by a dynamic group of players who have redefined the game. It's officially Fear the Deer season. Help defend home court and join the best fans in the league at Fiserv Forum for the Bucs playoffs, presented by BMO. Don't miss the chance to experience the intensity and excitement firsthand. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit bucs.com/playoffs. That's bucs.com/playoffs.
Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith here. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch begins now, and it begins. I like the whistling.
You know what? The boys this morning on Wisconsin's Morning News brought up an interesting question. Madonna's getting sued because she showed up 2.5 hours late and she lip synced.
What? Well, was she sick?
I don't know. But you can't show up 2.5 hours late to a concert. You just can't do it. Unless there's weather. You're the one setting the time. Show up. Be there.
Like, doesn't she have a bus or like a manager that's helping her out with that kind of thing?
But there's people suing Madonna because she was 2.5 hours late and she lip synced.
A very litigious society.
Yeah, but I mean, let's.
How
be
much
honest.
do you sue them? Like, are they suing her for
airline, hotel, probably, distress? I don't know.
If it's just one of those things, do you think anybody sues? Like, if she's just 2.5 hours later, just lip syncing?
And by the way, I told them you're not suing for lip syncing. I think every artist lip syncs. And by the way,
we don't.
We definitely don't. If I go to a concert, I don't even probably know, unless it's just blatant, I don't even know if they're lip syncing. Do you?
Tausch doesn't. Tausch doesn't.
You do not. You can tell me you know that they're lip syncing.
I actually think it's pretty easy to tell. Like, you can just hear if they're breathing or not.
Whoop-de blankin'-do.
Like,
You got
musician,
old Jelly Roll Nelson over here. So you can tell every time somebody's lip syncing.
Are you familiar with Jason Derulo?
I've heard.
I am familiar with his work. Yeah.
So he's a big dancer in addition to a singer.
Okay.
And when he came to the campus of Bradley University, he barely sang any of his songs because he was up on the stage like dancing around doing his whole thing, and that was more the show than him actually singing the song. So he only sang like one or two.
But
and
the
rest,
music was all playing, and you could still sing along.
Yeah, and he was dancing along, and he was
I ain't
like,
lying to
you
you.
could tell he was lip syncing if he was
I'm
trying.
okay
at
with
all.
that. I don't love it, but I'm okay with. I'm not suing him for that.
Now,
but don't show up 3 hours late. Come on, Madonna.
I don't know what Madonna's concert all entails, but if Adele doesn't do much but just stand there and sing, you can't do that in lip sync. You got to sing if you're just standing there singing.
I kind of disagree. But if her voice is hoarse, you either say you're going to come and listen, or would you rather cancel the show? What would you rather have? I'd rather go to the Blanken concert, watch her Blanken lip sync, and move on with my life. I'd be fine with it. I wouldn't be excited, but I'm not going to sue.
I guess that brings up a good point. I've never thought about how does a musician call in a sick day?
They do. If they have a vocal cord problem, and then they reschedule
and that
the concert.
was my question. If you're, obviously if there's weather or health, I don't think you can really do anything. But if I'm going to the Sphere and I want to go to a concert at the Sphere, if and when the Killers ever do it, I'm there. And I fly out there, I get hotel. Let's say I'm $3-4 grand in. I get on one of the Fortrea clinical trials. We get it knocked out. Boom, head out there. And then it all gets canceled because, I don't know, they just don't feel like doing it. It's not just that, okay, they'll refund my ticket. Okay, well, are you going to refund my hotel? Are you going to refund? They're not going to. That's the risk you take. So give me lip sync, or I'd rather lip sync than give me nothing, if that makes sense.
Give me liberty or give me death. Give me lip syncing rather than nothing.
Well, can we all agree we're not suing? Then I brought up, well, what? Jordan Love goes and throws 4 picks. You're going to sue the Packers and get your money because they didn't play well?
That's great.
What are we going to do here?
Well, that's not. That's
it is though.
No, that's like saying you bought tickets to go see Packers Chiefs last year, and instead of the Chiefs rolling in, it's the Chargers coming to town.
Let me tell you something. No, that's
and the game
not
started
it at all.
3 hours
I'll tell
late.
you this. You go to a Lakers-Bucks game and LeBron doesn't play, and the only reason you go, I don't think you should be able to sue for that either.
So apparently,
but
as
Madonna,
I've done some...
come on, dude. You're 60. You're not out getting
Madonna,
hammered.
come on, dude.
Get your butt out there. If you want to be 15 minutes late, we can live with that. 2.5 hours? What are you doing?
What if Roger Goodell was sick for the draft?
The draft would go on.
Does he lip sync the picks?
Less booing.
No, just move on. Bring in the next guy. Troy Vincent, step on up. Nobody cares about Roger Goodell. I hate to tell Roger. I hate to tell Roger this, but nobody gives two rips if he's... The draft will go on without Roger blanking Goodell.
Announcing the picks is one of the staples of the draft.
No, it's not.
It's not the same without him.
No, it's completely the same, with or without him.
So apparently Madonna did this in New York, and then it happened again in D.C. At Capital One Arena.
Might be time for old Madonna to call it. Say, hey, good run. And you're going to be late, 2.5, 3 hours late. Let's go. What a slap to the face of the 60,000 people, or however big the stadiums are that she's playing.
I think there are basketball arenas that she's playing at this point. But be that as it may, you're right. She shouldn't show up late. I don't know enough about the law to know whether or not these class action suits will succeed or not.
Can you imagine, though, if the Packers, if this goes through, all of a sudden you look at it and say, oh, Aaron Jones fumbled twice, I'm going to sue him. Like that.
Yeah.
Not great.
Via the talk and text line, Matt in West Bend, Madonna is on load management.
She had a Kawhi night.
All right. I've been wanting to get to this. We need to get to Evan Cohen, who's coming up. But you saw this from Ken Ingalls and sent it along.
Mm-hmm.
The Vontae Mack, no matter what, Post-it note. Who is your Packers Post-it note guy? We're going to do this throughout the show, and we'll do it with Evan as well. My question for you is, where do you stand on draft day? Because you also sent me some slander that somebody took a long time. It was one of those really long Twitter posts that if you pay for the subscription, you get like all the perks, including you can write as long as you want. And this person went very long on how unrealistic the film is, including to the point that the capologist Jennifer Gardner is suggesting David Putney, special teams, because the GM hadn't even thought that he might need a return guy. Does that film suck or is it great?
Oh, I love it. But I'm a football guy, so I love it.
Football guy.
Yeah, if you're a football guy or gal, you'll love draft day. If you don't, it's still entertaining. There's a little love story in there and everything else. You can still get. But if you're Johnny Analytics, like this is not. Hey, let me tell you a little secret, y'all. Hollywood makes stuff up. Yeah, it's dramatized.
There's not the Gootnator's not a real person.
They do drama things at movies. They make it different.
I also thought I've always thought this about draft day: the fact that Kevin
Jesse,
Costner's
do you not like my whispering, my Joe Biden
whisper guy.
It kind of gives me the goosebumps a little bit. Like,
it's weird that goosebumps.
Yeah. Hey, Greg Doyle, enough with the whispering. I also thought it was strange that Kevin Costner's mother, married to a longtime NFL head coach, would think that the best time to scatter her late husband's ashes on the practice field would be on the day that the first round is occurring.
It's a big moment for her son. Memories are flowing.
He's throwing his computer against the wall.
That is completely realistic to me. I don't have a problem with that.
You do? Okay. All right. Some of our Cleveland teammates are in draft day, which I think is celebrating its 10th anniversary. I think that's a 2014
It is a
film.
2014 movie, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd be curious where Evan Cohen falls on draft day, the film.
Guarantee you he loves it.
I do. So, and he and I have a lot in common, as you always point out. So we'll find out. Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, scheduled to appear next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, presented by...
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some... Why are you throwing... I don't want...
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my favorite go-to drink. That's Carbless. Carbless is a ready-to-drink, handcrafted vodka and tequila cocktail. Even better, it's 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, and just 100 calories. And listen to this, less carbonation. This leads to less bloat. I can indulge in something delicious without having that health guilt. Carbless is crafted right here in Wisconsin. It has a flavor for everyone, from black raspberry to cranberry, pineapple and lemon, and my favorite, margarita. Find Carbless online and at a retailer near you. Less is more.
Sleep apnea is a serious condition. And the worst part about it is, because it affects you while you're sleeping, you don't know what this condition is doing to you.
And it was scary because I found out that I was waking up 145 times an hour. 145 times. I was scared. I wasn't getting the sleep I needed.
And that's the thing. Someone like John wakes up after thinking he's slept all night, and he's been feeling run down for years, and finally finds out something really is wrong. This is why, for us, solving sleep apnea problems is so gratifying, because we really are changing lives.
I've had more energy. I'm getting better sleep. I've been told from my wife I don't snore, but honestly, it changed my life.
This is Dr. Mothan Kandula. Solving your breathing triangle problems means a better quality of life, and you deserve that.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Protect your dream home with American Family Insurance. And you can weather any storm. You'll also save up to 25% by bundling home, auto, and life. American Family Insurance. Get a quote. Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Discounts may not apply to all coverages on an auto or home policy. Discounts do not apply to life insurance policies. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, American Family Life Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
You ever have one of those days when you just couldn't come up with the right answer? Well, I know one answer that pretty much solves all problems. Ice cream. Yeah, it's the answer to everything, right? And right now, at Quick Trip, our rich, creamy, straight from our dairy, Nature's Touch 1-gallon pails of ice cream are just $4.99. Yeah, now that's an answer worth digging into. Come on, be a problem solver. Bring home some fresh, delicious Nature's Touch ice cream, only from Quick Trip.
The club at Lac La Belle is the birthplace of golf in Wisconsin, with a rich history you will feel once you arrive. Experience a round at the club at Lac La Belle. The historic course is open to the public 7 days a week starting Sunday, May 5th. Schedule your tee time today at club@laclabelle.com. This is a golf destination that you will want to play over and over again. Enjoy fine dining and event space after your round. An historic past meets a vibrant future. Go to club@laclabelle.com to start your journey.
Call Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Until justice stands for all, our lawyers will never rest. More at earthjustice.org/neverrest. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
That music means the Killers, whose lead singer Tausch isn't sure of their name, but he's going to go see them at the Sphere whenever they play.
Yes,
in Vegas. Means it's time to talk to Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. Evan, good morning. How are you?
I hate to do this. I already have to correct Tausch on something. They're not going to play the Sphere anytime soon because they have a residency, I believe, somewhere else in August, Tausch.
Well, yeah, but where's their residence? Is it in Vegas?
It's in Vegas.
Okay.
In Vegas, where they're from. So
Yeah,
I would
they're
assume
from
they're not allowed to play the Sphere.
Still don't know why they didn't play the Super Bowl this year. It's still dumb.
That I agree with. You know what I was thinking about with you guys?
What's that?
You really do have the perfect schedule for eating. Yeah, I was thinking about this. You get breakfast at a regular time. You get off the air at noon. You can have lunch. Because I am so hungry right now driving home. The whole day is thrown off. And I'm thinking, and I'm an hour earlier because it's in 11:20 my time, 10:20 your time. I'm so hungry. And then I have to eat breakfast during a break. Like, I believe 7, 12, and 6 is when I try to eat. But it's hard with this schedule. You guys, what a schedule.
Yeah,
you guys
great
have.
schedule. You know what? You know who's got a better schedule? Greeny. 10 to 12. So that time slot and the fact that he only works like 2 days a week and he's 10 to 12. If you're looking for the great slot, Evan, that seems to be the great lunch breakfast slot would be Greeny's, no?
Is that right?
Don't you think?
Is that right, Tausch?
It feels like it.
No, I think you guys. What you guys have is better.
All right. So, Evan, before we get into a Draft Day, the movie, and the Killers, and Madonna, and all that stuff, what was your? I listened a little this morning. Somehow you compared yourself to Joel Embiid, and your dad told you to not bring the ball down. So, how do you compare yourself to Joel Embiid? Is my first question.
That's not. Okay, I understand how you could take that out of context and think
I listened to the whole segment.
No, I understand.
You
So
told
Tim
Canty
Legler-
and Michelle, hey, you know what? Embiid's bringing the ball down. I mean, my dad told me that if you're a big guy and you bring the ball down, you level the playing field. So if he tells me that, why would Embiid do that? So I don't think I took anything out of context.
No, I understand that, but you left a big part of this out.
Did I?
Which was that Tim Legler, who compared himself today, if he puts bifocals on to Benjamin Franklin, that's a whole other story. He said Embiid, because of the wear and tear and the injury, has in essence made himself a guard because he doesn't play near the basket and thus makes himself smaller as a result. That's where that comparison came in.
But you did compare yourself to Embiid. Like, those are facts.
So, yes. I believe
okay,
so.
yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all I said. Hey, what did you make of all of the officiating last night? Does it come off as distasteful to you as it does to me when LeBron, they blow a 20-point lead? Were there some questionable calls? Yeah, there were. But don't you want your star players after a game to say, did it make you a little queasy when everybody complaining about the refs, or is it just the way it goes?
I mean, there's a few things you want from your stars, right? You want the level of accountability, or you want them to talk about a pandemic in the 80s. One or the other is really what you want from your stars. Nice. In this specific case, it is not surprising in any way, shape, or form that the two sources of complaints were Daryl Morey, who I believe was born in Baraboo. I could be wrong about that. But Daryl Morey, who runs the Philadelphia 76ers, formerly running the Rockets, who has more complaints to the league than he does finals appearances, and LeBron James. I mean, let's be honest. This is not everyone complaining, Tausch. It's those two guys that have a history of this. And this is the sad thing. What they're trying to do is influence the next game, is make the officials...
Phil Jackson was the king of that, right? That was Phil Jackson's deal back in the...
I mean, and it happens. It's unfortunate because you don't want to see it that way, where there's even no words should influence the officiating of a game. Now, that's not to say that, let's just do it to the sport that you two cover the most in football. That's not to say if the Packers are playing the Lions and 65 on the Packers at the time is holding every play, and the Lions say to the league office, please keep an eye on 65, he holds on every play. Right? Okay, I guess you have to be aware of that, but I don't even know. I mean, I guess I'll ask in return, should you even be allowed to do that? Because aren't you trying to influence where a ref would look? Which they should be looking at wherever they're told to look and trained to pay attention to, no?
No, I have no problem with that, with you pointing out things that you watch on film because they watch. But after the game and how they went about that, it was fairly obvious the Lakers felt like they got robbed. And they're trying to set up so they get, even though they shot more free throws than any other team in the league all year, they're complaining because they didn't get the same amount of calls in the postseason. Well, they all know postseason basketball, just like in the football, things don't get called as closely. You want the players to make plays.
Tausch.
Yeah.
Where LeBron looks bad last night is he's complaining afterwards because he knows they're in trouble about a play that happened in the third quarter. Meanwhile, with the game tied at 99-all, did he not push off a Contavious Caldwell?
Should have gotten a call there, yes. Yeah, and that's why I just take all of that.
It should have been a call for an offensive foul.
Yeah, can you imagine the lividness of everybody if that would have happened? So, all right, hey, your boy was born in Baraboo. Jesse Nelson did a little research, Jason. It's true, huh? He's a Barabooian?
It's true, but he went to high school in Ohio. So at some point he left Baraboo.
But I found a way. I would like to give myself credit. I found a way to localize Daryl Morey.
Yeah, you did.
Really well done.
That was very good.
What is Baraboo most known for, Evan? Since you're
Dan Byer, Fox Sports Radio.
No,
who
besides
I worked with in Madison back in the day.
Besides that, circus country.
What is
Baraboo is circus country.
Dave Craig.
No, you're thinking of Milton. You're thinking of Milton.
Milton College. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Speaking of localizing something.
No wonder his teams are such a circus, am I right?
That's not bad. That's not bad.
That's pretty good.
They never win anything.
Remember when Dave Craig, Steve DeBerg had the pins in his finger, or was it Dave Craig? Like, literally, I remember pictures of pins in the guy's fingers because something happened to him.
Jesse will fact-check that after the Baraboo resident Daryl Morley question. Hey, speaking of localizing things, we were talking about draft day, and the film features two of our Cleveland teammates in Riz and Aaron Goldhammer. I'm curious, are you a fan of that film, or do you think it's unrealistic and it sucks? Because it is very one way or the other. There's very few people that are in the middle.
I will watch it every single time it's on. I don't care that it's unrealistic. Who cares that it's unrealistic? It's a football movie that's about a draft. Sure, some of the trades wouldn't be made the way that they're made. I mean, who cares? I mean, so why don't we apply that to every science fiction film and say, you know what, it's not realistic, can't lie, I don't like it. It's because we have such knowledge of this as sports fans that we think it is so far-fetched. I mean, give me a break. Do you know, you want to hear something ridiculous?
Yes.
So Christopher Mad Dog Russo, who's on First Take, of course, with Stephen A. Smith on Wednesdays, and Sirius XM, will not watch Major League because it was filmed in Milwaukee and not Cleveland.
What?
And it's not an anti-Wisconsin thing.
authenticity.
He doesn't find it to be realistic. The authenticity, exactly. That it's not. You got to film that in Cleveland because Euchre's obviously in it, etc. So this whole thing about draft day is so stupid. Who cares that he traded down and trade back up? He got his pick back in pancakes. Who cares? It's a good movie.
I'm curious if Mad Dog is going to stand on that hill. What movie can he watch? Because there is no movie that's 100% authentic. None.
I'll give you another one. One of the batters in 42, the tremendous movie. Well, actually, both these movies have the late great Chadwick Boseman in them. Now that I think about it, but with Chadwick Boseman in it. One of the batters is batting for the wrong side of the plate, and he ripped the movie. He said, you can't get that wrong. I don't remember who it was. The guy was batting lefty versus righty. He went nuts on that. Couldn't do it.
Wow. He's a stickler. So, Evan, as a Patriots aficionado, as you're looking at the top of this draft, which will obviously begin on Thursday night, Mel Kiper has his projections. It's Caleb Williams 1 to the Bears, obviously. Jaden Daniels to the Commanders, whether he wants to go there or not. And Drake May 3 to the Patriots. I know Elliot Wolf has said they're open for business. They're open to trading up, down, all around. If you're putting together your Vontae Mack, no matter what, post-it note for the Patriots, whose name are you writing on it?
I'm starting to really lean into Drake May. I think a lot of people, the North Carolina quarterback, a lot of people are high on him. And I just think if it is clear-cut, the top three and then the middle three after that, and you have the third pick, and you have Jacoby Brissett who you can play, I don't see why you would pass on Drake May. If he's the guy, and I get, listen, the maneuverability of trading down and trade back up to get a guy like J.J. McCarthy is certainly interesting, but Drake May seems to be that guy. That's probably where I would go here. Could I see them trading? Yeah. Can I throw something at you guys? Because I have been pitching this to people, and it's right up your alley relative to a player you know.
Okay.
So the whole top golf thing has become a huge thing. For people who don't realize, the Washington Commanders brought in all these draft prospects, and they had them all play top golf together. And it was like a whole thing that Jaden Daniels allegedly was not happy because he thought he was going to come in on a solo visit, et cetera, and that he really wants to go to the Raiders, right? And the Raiders, coached by Antonio Pierce, his high school and college coach. So all I could think about is how do the Raiders go up and get him? They'd have to get up at least to number 3, maybe to number 2 to get him. Well, they have a pick this year, next year, and the year after, but they don't have an additional first-round pick. Would the New York Jets give them the 10th pick in the draft for Davante Adams?
No.
Okay, let me follow that up, Tausch, with asking this question. Does Aaron Rodgers then not run the Jets anymore?
I think his...
Great question.
I think he's still very involved, but I think the New York Jets are also looking at this and saying, we're paying Davante this. We need help in other spots in order to keep, especially on the offensive line. So, no, for as much as I think Aaron still is involved, their horse is hitched to this wagon. Everybody's going to get fired if this thing doesn't go. So that would be the one thing that I could maybe say they might get into, but I would be shocked if that happened. Shocked.
All right, let me ask one other follow-up on that. Okay. Would the Chicago Bears, who I believe still have cap space left over, Jason would know better than I would the Chicago Bears give up the 9th pick in the draft for Davante Adams?
No. There's too many young wideouts that are on rookie deals that they would prefer to have rather than pay a 31-year-old $27, $28 million a year. I don't think they would.
Now they're going to draft the Washington kid, right?
The Roma Dunze?
Yeah.
But I think because the only reason I bring this all up, when you ask the question about the quarterbacks, I keep coming back to the Raiders, and do they have a way of getting there, right? Do they have a way of adding an additional first-rounder? Because as crazy as it sounds, I don't know that 3 first-rounders get you from 13 to 2 or 3 if you're the Raiders. Now, conversely, I'm going to stay in your division here in the NFC North. If you're a team like New England and you're willing to move out of that 3 spot, or Arizona and you're willing to move out of the 4 spot, long term, who's going to be worse, the Raiders or the Vikings? Because I wonder if the Vikings are offering additional picks in years to come, if teams look at it and say, if we give them a quarterback, they're going to be pretty good. These picks are going to be bad versus the Raiders, who may not be. So I've been wondering whether or not the Vikings may have a little bit of a harder time moving up if they don't overwhelm a team, because there's actually an assumption that they'll end up being good.
That's what Tausch was just talking about.
Yeah, Louis Riddick said it. I think the Vikings skill position guys, the quarterback can fit in probably best with what the Minnesota Vikings coaching, line play, and skill position-wise. That's kind of what a lot of the ESPN experts have been saying. But I heard you with Sal Pal today and kind of saying that the Giants are going to be the swing as far as how...
Yeah, he said that. I don't see that. I got to be honest. I don't see that.
Did you tell Sal that, or did you just let him walk all over you?
Yeah, I let him walk all over me.
Okay, fair enough.
Wait, so why does he view them
Sal
as the
said
swing
something
pick?
You totally disagreed, and you just said you just let it go.
No, I got to be honest. I hadn't thought about it till right now, because my only focus for that interview was reliving the moment that he told me a few months ago that Sylvester Stallone texts him all the time about the Eagles.
Yeah.
Oh, that is cool.
So, Evan, if there was one star, whether it's a singer or an actor or an actress that just wanted to chew the fat with you about the New England Patriots, who do you want texting you?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady? He would
Okay.
be the answer. I mean, what are we
There you
talking about? William Belichick?
Okay.
How good is he going to be with McAfee? Let's be honest. He is going to be so good with McAfee on Thursday night. He was so good with him last week. Oh, my God. He was just phenomenal. Oh, that's great.
Before you go, why are the Crafts trying to bury him?
Good question. That's what I was going to ask.
There's been a lot of buzz about this, and I think that the perception that I get is that they are thrilled to take their team back, right? So this is such a psychological thing. So it's like if you own something, other people rent. Tausch, you've actually owned businesses, so I don't want to get too personal, but let's just play this out. You've owned a business. Let's say you hired someone, and that person was unreal in running the business, and you would win championship after championship and whatever the business would be, but you have absolutely no involvement in it, and you clash with the person running it. At some point, do you want the business back? Or do you just want to win every single year?
I want to win every year.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, and
I think
when they started losing that turn, but I think if you're going to do that, and what I'm surprised by is everybody crushes Jerry Jones for being uber involved and taking his team back. I bet Jerry Jones would look at it and say, man, I should have let Jimmy Johnson run this and not let my ego get in the way. And I'm sure Bob Kraft and Johnny Kraft.
I don't agree with that.
Oh, you can be wrong. That's okay.
Your can be wrong if you speak it the right way, at least.
All right.
It's always a treat.
Who's Johnny Kraft? Oh, Jonathan? You call Johnny?
Yeah, I think Johnny Kraft is the epitome of when you have a family-run business, you never want to be that third guy.
Base guy.
I would not. If I'm a Patriots fan, I don't want Johnny Kraft running anything. I want someone that knows what they're doing.
This is, in a weird way, this is the best thing that's happened to Belichick, because when they broke up, whenever it was a couple of months ago, and he walked away, everybody was piling on Belichick. If the dynasty doesn't happen and the reporting about Kraft doesn't happen, nobody's rallying in Belichick's favor. Now what you're seeing is all of these players and former coaches coming out and having his back. This is phenomenal for Belichick PR.
Yeah, and the last thing, Elliot Wolf is the general manager, but he's not entitled he's the title general manager. So they made Diana, and I don't know who they is. I would think I would have a hunch it'd be some ownership folks. Had people rescind when Diana Rossini and other people reported general manager Elliot Wolf. They made him edit that he's not the general manager. That seems a little power play-ish, egotistical to me if I'm a Patriot fan.
That does not seem that at all. What that actually is, and Jason can speak towards this, is for interviewing rules and regulations as to what they can and cannot get away with.
Yeah, although I would add to that I was reading a piece, I think it was from the Boston Globe, about Jonathan Kraft's role and how he is Johnny to some, if you know him well, Johnny. But the how he's exerting his opinion and thoughts onto Elliot Wolf, which, if you know Elliot Wolf's dad, I'd be curious to know. I'm sure Elliot's happy to have that job, but I'm not sure he wants the owner's son telling him who they need to be drafting, and there seems to be a little bit of that dynamic starting to brew there. So we'll see. We'll see. And if they get the right quarterback, it won't really matter.
None of it matters.
Yep.
Yep, exactly right.
Thanks for your time.
Unbelievable. It really
we appreciate
is unbelievable.
you.
All right, guys, thank you.
That is Evan Cohen. You can hear him on Unsportsmanlike every weekday morning across ESPN Wisconsin. Also see it on ESPN2, ESPNU, and across ESPN Radio. Tausch, raise a Coors Light to Evan. You guys were on the same page with a few things today.
We were indeed. Coors Light brewed with a 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it is cold packaged, so it's made to chill in those mountains. On Coors Light's cold activated bottles and cans, they turn blue. That's when you know it is chilled to perfection. That's why it's Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Back-to-back stars of the GKB Galaxy. First, Evan Cohen. Next, Homer. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch, driven by Zimbrick.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Beautify your entertainment space with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hi, this is Gina Della from Pella. Turn your ordinary space into something extraordinary with brand new Pella windows. Plus, getting the perfect windows and doors for your home has never been easier. Right now, get 0% interest for up to 36 months, or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months if you book before April 30th. Take ownership of your living space and make it a place worth living with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Gabe Nigel here. I know you've already heard me talking about how Mentality has helped me over the years, but there are others like me. Jason has been using Mentality for a while now and is loving the results.
I have gotten a handful of friends, probably a couple dozen, especially those that are closer to my age, maybe even a little bit older, because I just tell them, you got to check this out. Do not wait any longer. Just go and admit it. Yep, you're at an age where things are slowing down. I promise you, you're not going to regret it, and that's truly what I get. I'll get a phone call after, like, man, I feel like a kid at Chuck E. Cheese right now.
Learn more today at LowTUSA.com.
Awarded Best of Weddings 2023 by The Knot, The Bog is much more than world-class golf. Our clubhouse ballroom offers floor-to-ceiling windows and a breathtaking full-wall fireplace. Our barn venue was inspired by the on-site barn at Hole 6, built in the 1800s. 2 outdoor ceremony sites and a variety of personalized options. Our venues are perfect for family get-togethers, weddings, showers, graduation parties, or any event you are hosting. Call The Bog at 262-292-0740 or visit thebarnofthebog.com.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Alex Strofe. Pack yourself in for ESPN Wisconsin's Draft Night. The draft is almost here, and ESPN Wisconsin is bringing its picks straight to you. Join us for the first round live from the Q Club of Wisconsin on Thursday, April 25th. Get ready for an unforgettable night packed with draft insights and insider info as the Green and Gold reloads for 2024. Hear from Wilde and Tausch, Homer and Chewy, Brian Bulaga, Gary Ellerson, John Anderson, Rob Domofsky, and more. Be there for ESPN Wisconsin's Draft Night, brought to you by the Q Club of Wisconsin.
Hey guys, it's Brad Nortman here to tell you about a great offer at Bank 5-9. I know we're all looking for ways to save our money, and at Bank 5-9, you can earn more by opening a money market account today. With rates as high as 5.3%, you'll earn more while working with a true local community bank. Be sure to check out their great CDs too. Helping you save more of your money is another way Bank 5-9 is making lives better. For details, visit bank59.com/MM specials. Member FDIC.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. If you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, pay 0 interest for 12 months and get a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast, professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, best-selling author and founder of the Neal Group. I have some questions for you. Who does your books? Hopefully not you. There are better things for you to do in running your business. Do you trust the numbers? Good numbers are critical for making good decisions. Are you getting the advice you need to minimize your taxes and put more money in your pocket? A good advisor makes suggestions to help your business grow and minimize taxes, not just put numbers on a form. Do your calls get returned and your questions answered? Many of our new clients tell us they love our quick response time. We have helped countless businesses increase their profits and lower stress. Get the advice you want and need to grow your business and minimize taxes. If you want to get started on the road to making more money and having less stress, visit neilgroup.net right now. That's NEAL group.net. The first meeting is free to see if we can help. Again, neilgroup.net.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
The stars of the Playtone Galaxy aligning. First, Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike. Now, you hear him on the Homer Hour with not just Homer, but Brian Bulaga. You got Anderson. You got me on occasion. You got Gary Ellerson. And, of course, you also hear him on the Marquette Men's Basketball Radio Network. And I'm assuming he's got to tape another God Talk, My Faith, with Homer and Pip this morning. It is Steve the Homer. True Homer, good morning. How are you?
I'm not good. I failed on fixing my furnace. I thought I could do it, and apparently I have more limitations, so sucks.
I'm curious what made you think you could fix it, and what is wrong with it that you thought it was in your level of skill?
I had to deal with the situation, and I thought I had that part down, and either the thermostat's no good or the connection to the furnace.
Or the guy who's doing it is no good.
No, I got two guys for furnace, but I didn't think I would have to call them. Now I do.
You should call that 98-year-old lady that works at the tire shop. She could help you.
She just answers phones. She does not do furnaces. But that's a great choice. Yes, 98 years old, and she's working today. I should probably go over there sometime this afternoon. Wish her a happy 100th birthday. She's going to make it that long.
In case she doesn't make it.
Have you ever known anybody that old to work?
No, I never have. You're getting up there, but not 98.
I got to do 30 more years to get to that. All right. Yes.
Homer, I spent some time with you and Brian Bulaga last night talking about the NFL draft and the expectations. We're going to get to some of the things that Goody said yesterday as we continue our show today. But I'm curious, one of the things that we talked about last night was this idea that they're sitting at 25, they've got some needs, but the assertion that Goody doesn't want to necessarily trade some of his picks to move up to get a difference maker. And he said that player would have to be special and the kind of player you don't get in the draft very often, like multiple years type. You don't get this kind of guy. So what are you expecting to happen on Thursday night? No trade? Stay where they are?
No, it'll be the way that he's traded that, like they did with Clay Matthews, like they did with Jordan Love. Somebody that they like so much better than where they are in the draft, they'll pay a little bit to move up a couple spots. But it's hard to make a judgment because he already did something he never does by picking up the high-priced free agent. So maybe he'll do something else. But that, I actually listened to the entire conversation because I was curious. And
it was a nice change of pace.
I understand why he does measurables, because measurables make him believe that the upside that it increases the chances of getting a player that turns out to be really good. And two, the 1.6, which I thought you've got to do a story on. Was it 1.6 or 1.8?
Yeah, 1.6 out of every draft class. 1.6 players is the average number of guys that then get a second contract from the team that drafts them.
I mean, I always like to know what did it used to be, but it would appear to me that if that's viewed as differently, then the draft is different or how you view it. He didn't get into detail, but if that's a significant change, then the way you draft would have to possibly be a significant change, or at least that's kind of the way he presented it without giving specifics. But that was
my most fascinating part by far, because that would change things. Like then you do what? Because you're generally only going to have them for their first contract, right? But maybe they never had players for more than their first contract.
I think it has gotten to be fewer, and I do think he has also, one of the things that
You're
talks
also
about.
looking at 4 years now instead of 3, and then there's a 5th-year option that there used to not be. So it's you're getting longer terms with your first with the draft picks than you did 10 years ago.
So does that mean you draft differently, or does it have no effect whatsoever?
You really are selective with who you decide to give second contracts to, because if they're replaceable by someone that can give you 4 years at a much cheaper discount, you do it. If they're studs, you keep them.
Right. Like, I think John Runyon is the example,
really good example. Yep.
He in the old days, when Tausch played, so to speak, he gets a second contract from the Packers.
Yep.
You don't let him walk out the door. And now, and look, I also think Goody has had a shift, and he talked about it yesterday to some degree, that, he really does believe in this young guy concept, and that when you get the, for lack of a better term, cheap labor, and you can spend lavishly in certain spots, and you decide other guys are replaceable by the next draft pick. That's what they did with Runyon. They've decided that Sean Ryan, who was drafted 2 years later, is now the right guy to go there. And then they're going to do it again to somebody else, most likely.
Right,
probably do it to Sean Ryan.
Right.
I mean, maybe that changed with the contracts. By the way, as far as whether they sign a second contract, I don't really care unless it changes the way they draft. I mean, that's my interest. If it hasn't changed the way they draft, then don't even tell us next year. Why would I care?
So, Homer, if all things are equal, where do you hope? Not player. I'm not going to ask you to name a player, but what position, if things are equal with that 25th pick and they stay there, where do you hope Green Bay goes for Thursday?
I don't care enough about it to answer.
Great.
The only one thing that matters.
Good deal.
So I'll answer what's important. The only thing that matters is that Jordan Love continues to improve. On a scale of 1 to 10, that's a 10.
So then why are we talking about the draft?
Hold on. So the draft is overall. I can't wait till all the people are picked, because Ron Wolf is in the Hall of Fame, and he sucked at first-round picks. So clearly it isn't the end-all, be-all, especially when you pick late in the first round. I think it's possible, because this could be a great draft, I think it's possible that when they pick, there will be someone they like so much that he might trade up a spot or two. That would be my prediction on this. But it's the overall draft, right? If Ron Wolf wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, it was based on first-round picks, right?
Ron Wolf wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame if he didn't give up a first-round pick to get Brett Favre.
Okay, but again, so then first round, yes. But I mean, it's selection.
That was his first-round pick, and he nailed it.
So the draft that we would say his greatest draft, Ron Wolf's was 1995, when Craig Newsome was not a multi-Pro Bowl corner as the first-round pick. But you got Antonio Freeman in that draft. You got William Henderson in that draft. You got Brian Williams, who was a really good 4-3 outside will linebacker. You got Travis Jervey in that draft, who ended up being a good special teams and running back player. And then in the 7th round, you got Adam Timmerman. He's one of those guys from the 7th round when we talk about Tausch and Driver. Adam Timmerman turned out to be a multi-time Pro Bowler in the 7th round. That is his greatest draft. But to Tausch's point, if he doesn't trade for Favre, doesn't matter how good he was at building teams, and even if they win a Super Bowl, I don't think he probably gets to the Hall of Fame.
And I'm confident, as everybody probably is, that Goody has resurrected himself from El Succo in the draft, specifically with tight ends and wide receivers, to where now everybody legitimately has some level of optimism that whoever he takes, there'll be some players out there. I don't know why it's changed the last couple of years. That's still an unknown. So whatever players he takes, you'll do the study, and I'll think, hey.
Yeah.
But my prediction would be they will move up 2 spots in the first round, only 2, because they don't want to pay a whole lot for it. Because just like was the case with Jordan Love, that I'll always believe, he liked him so much that he didn't think he'd be able to get a player of that value at that point in the first round, and he'll say the same thing this year. This will be their second Jordan Love, though he won't be as significant.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I know this, that he does sound very reluctant to give up those day 2 picks to move. He believes he can get really good players there. So we'll see. If he can get a bargain to move up a little bit in some spots, I think he'll do it. But again, to your point about him being what'd you call him? El Succo?
Yeah.
I don't know if and I want to explore this with Tausch during the 11 o'clock hour. I don't know if it was false humility or if he really feels this way. But Goody multiple times yesterday went back to how much opportunity this draft class got right away. And I wonder if he does not think that his draft class is quite as star-spangled awesome as we keep talking about it being, because it got more opportunity, and maybe he doesn't.
I think he's overselling that. I mean, he tried to, but I think what he's admitting is he was lucky, and he doesn't want to say he was lucky. I mean, you talked about it, about how he waited for Reed.
Jaden Reed.
Yeah, well, because, I mean, anybody would do that. If we have a group of 2 or 3 people, there's no need to trade up. But we don't know which one we're getting. That's fine. We'll take one of those 3. And I think I took it more as that they were lucky. Like, they made some good picks, but they could just as well be unlucky because it's that hard. Right. I mean, to me, the draft is like people should view gambling. It's fun, but it's really hard. And if you don't respect how really hard it is, like everybody should feel that Goody was lucky the last couple of years. That's a part of it. We just don't know how much. That'll be determined in the next couple of years.
Homer, have fun on God Talk and say hi to. You should have your 98-year-old woman be on God Talk.
Good idea.
She is a potential future. Yes. Yep. She fits.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Ask her, say that she bye.
That is Steve the Homer True. You can hear him every weekday on the Homer Hour throughout ESPN Wisconsin. All right, Tausch, I do want to get to that Jaden Reed part and about the opportunities that last year's draft class got, because I did think that was a pretty interesting conversation. We'll get to that coming up. You want to tell me about Prize Picks now?
Oh, yeah, I do, but I don't.
Oh, no.
Old T had a big opportunity last night.
Oh, no.
I went against my philosophy, which was dumb.
Oh, you went for the big 6 spot?
I went for a 5-piece nuggie, and I got 4. Oh! And I missed.
What'd you miss?
Brunson. And Jesse, you know this. You got the red-headed things where like the devil, and you got the goblin, the green little deals, which I don't necessarily...
Yeah, the goblins, they like reduce the number a little bit.
Yeah, and it takes away a little bit, but...
Yeah.
And Brunson was a green last night, so it should have been a gimme. Yeah, it wasn't a gimme. I had Joker at the 0.5, and so Old T was really close. Felt pretty good about it. We needed that game to go to OT, but Prize Picks was fun. It made me real interested. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million active members. All you do, pick more or less on a 2 to 6 player stat projection, and you can watch the winnings roll in like I thought Old T had last night. You know what? One of the great things about it, if they have an injured player, basketball, they exit the game in the first half, they don't return, Prize Picks will have your back and not count it as a loss. Download the app today. Use the code WI for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code WI on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
More next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
I cannot imagine that there's any way that he missed the game because he's unhappy that the game was on turf. I think that's preposterous to me.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30.
I thought they looked great. I got to be honest, I think that's what I kind of expected from the Packers.
Presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Also sponsored by Construction Business Group and Island Resort and Casino.
A lot can happen between falling in love with a house online and owning it. Between imagining living there and breathing in your new home for the first time. Having an advocate who can help you navigate the complex world of financing, inspections, negotiating, analyzing the market, and talking through any anxieties that may pop up, that can make all the difference. That's what the expertise of a Realtor can do for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and bound by a code of ethics, because that's who we are.
I'm a waitress, so I know the difference between regular shoes and Skechers slip-resistant work shoes. Skechers slip-resistant work shoes make my job go like this. Here's your pasta primavera.
Thanks.
While regular shoes make my job go like this. Here's your pasta whoa! And that difference is why I wear Skechers slip-resistant work shoes to keep me safe on my feet. Plus, they're easy to clean and have Skechers exclusive air-cooled memory foam for comfort throughout my shift. Get America's #1 selling work shoe at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever work shoes are sold.
QC Kinetics announces the arrival of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon with 2 decades of experience and extensive research in regenerative medicine.
But I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it, and at the same time I integrated clinical research that's resulted in several publications that are really directing the future of regenerative medicine. I was drawn to QC Kinetics after I reviewed their protocols, and everything they were doing is consistent with my own approach.
Today, Dr. Scheinkup leads the entire team of medical professionals at QC Kinetics, taking this exciting medical breakthrough to a whole new level.
What we are doing at QC Kinetics is transforming lives.
Get lasting joint pain relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Gabe, where do you think our group should be taking our golf trip next year?
Jason, I don't know. Do you have time to figure it all out and get all the reservations made? I certainly don't.
Not really. I mean, I'm so busy. If I only knew somebody to call that might do all the work for us.
Oh, I know about Wisconsin Golf Trips. Their main business is booking groups from around the world to play all the great courses in our state, but they're now doing outbound trips for groups each year to places like Michigan, Minnesota, and Nevada. Plus, Wisconsin Golf Trips is even booking custom packages for Scotland and Ireland.
Oh, wow. Let's hit them up.
WisconsinGolfTrips.com.
The pulse of the Milwaukee Bucks, straight from a Bucks legend.
Can't get it off. Marcus Johnson will, though. Can't leave him alone for a 12.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson on Bucks Plus. Marcus and his son Chris offer a weekly beat on Bucks basketball. Get your questions answered and hear from the biggest names in basketball. Find Here District with Marcus Johnson at bucks.com/plus on the Bucks app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey Wisconsin, it's construction season and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones in your area. Check 511wi.gov or download the free 511 app to see current road work, closures, detours, and camera views on your route. Wherever your travels take you, know before you go with 511wi.gov. That's 511wi.gov. And remember, know before you go. Always park the phone while driving. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Thanks to Homer and to Evan Cohen, back-to-back. We'll get to the 11 o'clock hour momentarily. Tausch, real quick question that I think will frame our conversation about not only the Jaden Reed exchange I had with Goody yesterday, but the draft in general. Homer said luck. Mm-hmm. People don't like luck. People want credit for doing something well. They don't want to be told, oh, you got lucky.
Well, quick question for you. The harder you work, the
more lucky you are.
The luckier you get. Same basic principle. So, is there luck that is involved in the draft? Absolutely there is. Is there also the analytical side of it and these numbers and the stuff that... But you can have the greatest numbers ever, and if you blow an Achilles in the first OTA,
right?
Can you rebound from it?
Right.
What do they have inside? Do they have the drive to do it? Those are all the questions that you don't know, but... You can do all of the research, and the big thing, I believe, there's a ton of really good players. What are you coming into? Who's coaching you? What's the organizational support? That matters too, and that's where you differentiate. I don't necessarily think that there's one group that is just that much better at analyzing all this talent. Everybody knows what people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
What they don't know is, do you have the facilities? Do you have the people? that are going to continue to help you grow and progress? And do you have the patience to let these players do that? That's what the secret sauce is. So is that luck? No, that's not. The luck is the injury piece of it, and you get lucky with you get some cat that doesn't really have it on film and they get it and they go to that next level, and then the Patrick Mahomes of the world, and all of a sudden you're a 3-time champ and all of your guys are getting fat new contract extensions till 2029. Is that luck? Partially, but it's also a lot of research, development, and then having the support system there to grow it.
I really liked Goody's answer in our exchange yesterday about the Jayden Reed pick and how that played out. I want to get to that to kick off the 11 o'clock hour. Someday we'll put down our Vontae Mack no matter what pieces. I don't know when that'll be.
It'll be tomorrow.
We still have till Thursday when the first round occurs. We'll talk about the how and the why and how it worked out with Jayden Reed as the example of how the draft has these twists and turns. We'll do that to kick off the 11 o'clock hour, which we'll do in 2 minutes. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Beautify your entertainment space with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Hi, this is Gina Della from Pella. Turn your ordinary space into something extraordinary with brand new Pella windows. Plus, getting the perfect windows and doors for your home has never been easier. Right now, get 0% interest for up to 36 months, or no down payment, no interest, and no payments for up to 18 months if you book before April 30th. Take ownership of your living space and make it a place worth living with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Take me out to the ball game, roll out the barrel, and get up, get out of here, gone. There's nothing like Milwaukee baseball. The Brew Crew is back, and we're here to help you turn your tailgate or game viewing experience into a grand slam. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where since 1960 we have provided the best selection and the lowest prices. We stock literally thousands of varieties of beer, liquor, wine, and mixers. Over 15,000 actually, but who's counting? The point is, you want it, odds are we have it. Combine our incredible selection and everyday low prices with our 2 convenient locations, and you've got your one-stop shop for game day. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma, only 10 minutes from AmFam Field, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Maine.
Discount Liquor.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
For general contest rules, visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com.
Game Nights will here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Wilde and Tausch begins now. Now, look, this is not a journalism symposium, but you've heard me tell you many times that it's not about the question, it's about the answer. I think the most important thing about the question is, do you have a curiosity that leads to it and gives the guy an opportunity to give you an insightful answer? And I thought what Goody delivered yesterday in this back and forth was fascinating to me. And I want to see if Tausch and Jesse agree. Because here's the thing. We all agree Jayden Reed was a great pick.
Certainly looks that way.
Yeah. Certainly he's got to continue to do it. It's a one-year thing, and he's got to do more. But You get a guy in the second round. You get a guy who, in your history, you haven't had a lot of production from rookie wide receivers. Now, granted, the opportunities weren't there for them like they were for Jayden Reed. But Jayden Reed was really good.
You think Jayden Reed would have been good if there's a different quarterback, a veteran quarterback?
I think, again, who knows, right? But I think he would be the kind of guy that might have done pretty well with Rodgers.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about Rodgers. I was just talking about a veteran.
Yeah.
How were you not talking about Rodgers?
No, I was talking about Rodgers. I was.
Okay, good. I'm glad I didn't misread you there, because that would have been troubling, given the sentence finishing that happens to occur on this show. So I was just curious, because if you look back, and I explained this in the question, which I know Goody already knew these things, but they traded back twice in the second round. They could have very easily not gotten Jayden Reed because of it, but they did. And it turned out to be a really good player.
He went with the good. We didn't get Jayden Reed. Good. We'd have found somebody else.
Jocko.
Just as good.
Good old Jocko.
There we go.
Here is that exchange between Goody and I yesterday.
Curious from a process perspective, using last year's second round as an example. You take Luke at 42. You're sitting at 45. The Lions call. You move back to 48. You're sitting at 48. You move back to 50. In that time, Jayden Reed could have gone, right? And he ends up being your leading receiver. I'm curious, when you're in that kind of scenario, and you got guys there might be guys that are all graded the same, but you might like one guy more. Are you taking a risk that you could lose out on the guy you like best? Can you kind of explain how that works for you as you're going through it?
Yeah, whenever you trade back, you have to expect to lose, the players that, that are on the board that you might be willing to pick at that spot. It's just, that's part of it. I think it's why we work so hard at getting the value right of the players on the board, is so that you can read it, and if you feel that it's strong and you can move back and still get someone you have the same kind of value on, you do. I think you got to be very careful of falling too in love with individual players. That's just I think you got to be careful of that. You have to be, I think, a little bit you have to think of these things not emotionally, but just kind of like, hey, we do a lot of work to try to get this value right. If the board is telling us we can move back, then we will.
So taking Jayden goes at 49, sucks, but you got another guy that you like, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like, we took Luke Musgrave where we took him. We really liked Tucker and couldn't believe he was still there in the third. But, if we would have kept moving back, or if Jayden wouldn't have been there, we could have taken him and felt really good about it. So, because, those guys were rated, right there. So, that's why, hopefully, we were talking a little bit about it being boring. Hopefully you build the board and you go through this enough to where you have enough confidence in the board to follow it, But, we're all human, and every scout in there's got favorite players up there. But at the same time, we're trying to do what's best for the organization and the team, not for us individually.
So two things before you give your thoughts. One, clearly I would suck as a GM, because as an emotional person, I would have my favorites, and that would totally botch the board. And secondly, how about the fact that they had Tucker Kraft and Jayden Reed around the same grade, and they obviously picked Reed over Kraft, and then got Kraft anyway because he was still available in the third round?
Yeah, I don't know if I am not revisionist draft guy. Like, if you're in the room with cameras and they show it, great. But I'm old enough to remember Bill Polian saying Tom Brady was going to be his first-round pick.
But you knew he was lying.
That's my point on this. General managers lie. General managers, now, do I think he liked Tucker Kraft? Yes. Do I think that's exactly how it played out? No, I don't. But he's telling you a story, and I think you can suck it up like soup, or you can let it sit and cool off. I think Goody's got his board, and I think one of the things, though, that you're going to hear over and over is football is a relationship deal, because it is.
Apparently not.
No, it is. But there's a fine line.
Not for the GM.
Of keeping it like Old Boy on your other favorite movie, Moneyball.
Moneyball, yeah.
Where they don't go ahead and do anything. But this is a new era. This isn't David Justice, you sitting there. This is now, I need to have a relationship with him. And I think that's one of Goody's spots that he has lacked. And I think you're seeing it. I think he's changing. I think he's evolved. I don't think it's to the point where he's lovey-dovey and but do I think that he has been more? I think if you ask David Bakhtiari, I think he'll tell you he's very open and honest with me. Do I love everything he said?
No.
He didn't. But so all of this, I'm fine if Jaden Reed doesn't go. I'm fine. You could say the same thing back. Well, we could have had Creed Humphrey, the left-handed center.
Right, and they chose the wrong. Right, they chose the wrong guy in that.
All of this is, you can judge back afterwards. That's what you do with drafts. But I think Goody, if he loves somebody, and the scouts, I'm telling you right now, they have fun little battles. And I've heard plenty of times, I won't name any names.
Oh, no.
But there was a old general manager that was with Cleveland and potentially helped out with Detroit. And we always busted his chops about one of his first-round picks that he was on the table for. I'm not going to tell you who. May have been a defensive end out of Florida State. And to this day, you still chop him up when he's talking and he'll say something, blah, blah, blah. Well, you love this guy. Well, if you were going to stamp it and put your name down on it, that means a little something too. And I know Goody won't say that, but if old Milt or if any of the other guys up there are just on the table for somebody, that does mean a little something if he trusts your instincts and what you've done in the past.
All right, but the reason why I thought this was so interesting, Tausch, forget the other extraneous stuff. One of his best picks, it would appear, was a guy that easily could have been off the board by the time he actually went on the clock because he traded back twice and because he accumulated an extra fifth from the Lions and an extra sixth from the Buccaneers because he believes in extra swings. But, I just think it's interesting that there's such a fine line between whether you had a good draft or not based on basically nothing that you control. You have to make the right pick. And your example of you have both Josh Myers and Creed Humphrey available, and you chose Josh Myers instead. Those are instances where it's in your hands. In an instance like this where we're giving him credit for getting Jaden Reed, he could have completely missed out on him because of the other decisions he made to take those trades. And then maybe you end up with a guy who's not very good because he was the last guy that you had with that grade, and you're disappointed with that pick. It's just, there's so many just little kind of choose-your-own-adventure moments that are the difference between having a draft like he had in 19 when he only got Elton Jenkins and Rashawn Gary, who are two very good players, or 18 where you only have Jair to show for your draft, and having a draft where we're talking about how he hit a grand slam, maybe inside the park, but a grand slam home run with it.
Yeah, that's the beauty, and that's why I think people are so intrigued by this, because those decisions, not taking Deion Sanders, Derek Thomas, Barry Sanders, and taking Tony Mandrich, sets you back, but then it also gives you Brett Favre. Because if you take Troy Aikman, Brett Favre is never a Packer. And is Troy Aikman going to have the same success that he had with Dallas, with the Green Bay Packers? No, he's not. So that's the beauty and the fun of how this all shakes out. But it's a crapshoot. And the luck part of this is much bigger than what all of us lead on, but there's still variables that you can control, and understanding what other general managers and teams need and balancing that with where your guys are slotted and winning these poker hands. You have to win. You can't just win one big pot. Now, if you win one big pot, you're set for a while. But you have to steal blinds. You have to win some of those pots that you don't think are really worth anything. You keep winning a few of those, you can lose a decent-sized pot because you have this little back pile of pots that people were giving you because you were aggressive and you made the right moves.
Wait, is this still Texas Hold'em, or are we playing a different card game today?
It could be Texas Hold'em. It could be 5-card stud. It could be whatever poker game you put chips in the pot for.
So did John Dorsey ever admit how wrong he was about Jamal Reynolds?
I don't know any of those names.
Whoa,
Nelly! Well, I ask you for names, and you clam up like, Lord, no, I don't know the clam.
No, I think I give
Clam guy from
names. That's not
SpongeBob.
true. I give names. I name names. I mean, not right now,
Yeah.
but I've named names
Sometimes,
before.
The clam guy from SpongeBob.
I was trying to think of somebody that clams up, and I think SpongeBob has clams in it, so maybe I'm wrong.
Have you watched a lot of SpongeBob?
No, matter of fact, that kids will watch Gladiator and all these, but I don't let them watch SpongeBob. That's a weird deal.
Wedding Crashers.
No, we haven't gotten to Wedding Crashers yet. We've kept that off limits.
Well, dream fearlessly, my
Gladiator
friend.
was a little bloodier than I remember.
Yeah.
You don't say.
Yeah,
It's kind of violent.
Pretty
Yeah.
good battles. Good battles.
Were they not entertained?
Well, they were entertained. They were entertained. And you can be entertained at a Badger game. Badger fans, American Family Insurance wants to give you and a friend a VIP experience at a Badger football or basketball game during the 2024 season. You and a friend. Pre-game, sideline, or courtside passes, the tour of the facility, and tons of great Badger merch to support the Wisconsin Badgers. Enter today at amfam.com/Badgers. No purchase is necessary. Dream fearlessly, insure carefully.
Jesse had one of my stories as a subject for today's show. Maybe we'll get to that later in the week, along with our Vontae Mac no matter what Post-it notes, but it's time now to play trivia. Jesse, today is Tuesday. Badger Trivia Tuesday is no longer. It's not time for Wisconsin geography. The draft is here, but it's not about the draft. I don't know what trivia was about yesterday, and I didn't know the phone number that people needed to call. What is today's category, and what caller would you like?
Hey, guys. The Brewers are playing the Pirates.
Oh.
Yar, shiver me timber, it's Pirate Trivia Tuesday. Ahoy! Hoist the masses, and away we set sail for Pirate Trivia.
How many days of this are we going to have?
Well, it is draft week, which is a favor by the baseball schedulers to do, so we didn't have to do it all.
Wait, they played the Pirates yesterday.
They got
Yar, they did. But yesterday
But
was
you
the
guys
sports
didn't
weekend
do Pirate
recap.
Trivia?
Ahoy, yeah, it was the sports weekend recap. Today be the Pirate Trivia.
All right. We can hear Tausch's Irish Pirate a little bit later
Start
here.
warming
I was
up,
debating.
old
I'm
T.
thinking about maybe taking a.
Start warming up.
I might take a little hiatus today. I will give my best effort. That's all I can
If you
promise.
change your mind, I'll do all three.
I've never known ye to be a quitter.
Yes, you have. Caller 10. Caller 10 right now, 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Yar! Pirate Trivia. This brings a smile to my face. I don't know why. It's such a... It's always kind of all over the map, and I'm not sure how good it is, but we do it every time the Pirates are facing the Brewers, so we'll do it again next. Caller 10, 844-770-3776. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcasts for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Alex Strofe. Pack yourself in for ESPN Wisconsin's Draft Night. The draft is almost here, and ESPN Wisconsin is bringing its picks straight to you. Join us for the first round live from the Q Club of Wisconsin on Thursday, April 25th. Get ready for an unforgettable night packed with draft insights and insider info as the Green and Gold reloads for 2024. Hear from Wilde and Tausch, Homer and Chewy, Brian Bulaga, Gary Ellerson, John Anderson, Rob Domofsky, and more. Be there for ESPN Wisconsin's Draft Night, brought to you by the Q Club of Wisconsin.
Hey, it's Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You've heard me talk about the results mentality has had on my life, but don't just take it from me. Jason has had success too, thanks to mentality.
My only regret is I didn't do it sooner. Knowing once again I've gotten the treatments done and continuing, I do feel, stuff does hurt a little bit more, but I'm 40, in my 40s, and that's going to happen. But again, the energy levels, it is above and beyond. Again, I'm back in that age where I'm like, this is amazing.
Get started today at lowtusa.com.
Hey, Drew Scott here, and I'm Jonathan Scott, reminding you that life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance. They can help you get just the right protection at just the right price and help you save when you bundle home and auto. kind of like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It'll be just right for you. We love a custom build. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. If you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, pay 0 interest for 12 months and get a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast, professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a must-play every golf season. Wild Rock Golf features championship golf in the heart of Wisconsin. Wild Rock, a Herdston Fry masterpiece that's cut from the natural beauty of the Wisconsin Dells and offers stunning views from elevated tee boxes. Wild Rock presents spectacular greens that roll fast and true. Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a unique gem that offers a challenge to avid golfers of all abilities. Book your tee time today for this must-play at wildrockgolf.com, wildrockgolf.com.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Homer here to tell you about Rawhide Youth Services. Co-founded in 1965 by Bart and Cherry Starr, Rawhide is a faith-based nonprofit that helps thousands of youth every year, many right here in Milwaukee, overcome trauma, suicidal thoughts, and live better lives. For youth who are hurting, who feel lost or abandoned, and families feeling powerless to help them, Rawhide is there to help. They also need vehicle donations to support their mission of helping hurting youth transform their future. Donate to Rawhide Youth Services. Visit rawhide.org/donate.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Ahoy, mateys! Let's set sail for the Wisconsin Dells and Lake Dalton. And welcome in our contestant. It is Z and the D. Zach, good morning. How are you?
Hey. Ahoy there, mateys.
Way to lean in. We appreciate that. I don't want to assume anything, Jesse, but generally speaking, when we play pirate trivia before we ask questions, you have a pirate joke holstered.
Yar, I don't know if that's always the case, but Z and the D, I do happen to have one question for you before we get started, if you don't mind.
No.
What is a pirate's favorite music genre? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to say it's bluegrass.
I don't know if he could have chosen a funnier line. That was really good. Nicely done.
No, it's R&B, of course. R&B.
Oh.
Bluegrass.
I got one for you, Jesse.
Oh, I hope the punchline's as good as that one was.
Jesse, what is a pirate's favorite doll?
Doll? Yar.
No.
Ken.
Barbie.
Barbie, of course.
I should have saw that one coming a mile away.
All right, Zach, here we go. Question number one. But I don't don't want to be a pirate, is one of the iconic lines from which popular 90s sitcom? Is it from Seinfeld, Full House, or Hey Arnold?
Well, no, it's not Arnold, so we're throwing that one out. This one's got me a little stumped, but I'm going to go with the first one. Seinfeld.
Stumped like peg leg. Indeed. 1 for 1. Well done. Captain Tausch, Sparrow, you've got question 2.
Full question? Or how did I forgot how this works.
Sorry, Tausch, I had your mic off for a moment.
I was going to say, all right, I'm just going to roll with it.
Probably a good decision.
Ahoy, matey! Which college basketball team named the Pirates won the 2024 Men's NIT Championship against the dreaded Sycamores of Indiana State? Is it the
I'm
East?
pretty sure it's Seton Hall.
Thank you. Thank you for taking me out of my pirate misery.
The Irish pirate.
Well, you turned Italian there.
Was that Italian? Yes, you're rolling your R's. That was very Italian. Like it was an Irish Italian accent.
basketball team.
Well, they're pirates outside of Italy, right?
That's a spicy meatball. All right, question 3. That was great. Here we go. Question 3, Zach, as you search for the perfect score for today. Which of these is not a former Brewers scallywag who walked the plank to become an active member of the Pittsburgh Pirates roster? Is it Rowdy Tellez, Jesse Winker, or Yasmani Grandal? Which of them are... Jesse, just so I make sure I got this right, which one is not a former Brewer who became a Pirate?
2 of them are Pirates. Right now, we want the one who is not.
Well, when you made him walk off the plane, he had a twinkle in his eye, so I'm going with the Jesse Winker.
Jesse Winker is lighting it up in Washington? Where is he?
Oh.
Yar, he be with the Nationals.
Yeah. Read a story about him in the Post the other day. He's hot. And so are you, Zach. A perfect 3 for 3. You've got 4 entries into Friday's drawing. Well done.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
That was perfect.
It'd be a perfect week so far.
Yeah, we're 6 for 6, right?
That'd be correct.
I couldn't say that. I wasn't here for trivia. I was talking to Goody yesterday.
Zach, I do have one more question before you go, if you're still sticking around.
Gar.
What did the pirate name his dog?
Ooh. Edie?
Bluegrass.
Yar, he named him Plank because he walks him.
7 out of 10.
Not even.
That's high.
Like
Zach,
the C's.
thanks for playing, buddy. We appreciate you.
Love you too, smooches.
No, that was fun. That was worth the price of admission. All right, that is Wilde and Tausch trivia. We've got Whoa Nelly coming up next. I'm assuming that you will not talk in a pirate voice during that.
No, my allergies have been bothering me, and I think I just ruined my voice for the rest of the week.
My allergies have been bothering me. Tausch, if your bathroom is bothering you, now is the time to call Kohler Services to change that.
Indeed, if you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family business for 150 years. Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer, providing care for life. And this month only, 0 interest for 12 months, and you get a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Free shower door. Wow. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote. And as always, fast professional installation is always included. Again, that's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Whoa Nelly is next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcast for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you outdoors because we get you. Whether you're ready to build your dream yard or get out on the water, we get you the right products at the right prices. Like a 22-inch Yard Force push mower powered by Briggs & Stratton, only $279.99. Stabil gasoline stabilizer, $10.99 a quart. Gojo Natural Orange Hand Cleaner with pumice, just $11.99 a gallon. And save $40 on a lifetime Kenai sit-on-top kayak, $259.99. We get you outdoors because we get you at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, and the future of medicine is here at QC Kinetics. QC is the nation's leader in the most exciting revolution of pain management that we've seen in decades. We're talking regenerative medicine. If you're tired of those achy joints, if you have joint pain that's keeping you from doing the things that you love, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Surgery, steroids, and drugs, these are no longer your best options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative treatments that deliver lasting results. We're talking about natural biologics, using your body's own power to repair and restore damaged tissue. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkupp. Dr. Scheinkupp is a pioneer in this field with 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, and publishing. He wants to get your relief with a needle, not a knife. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
Discover the difference at findhigherlove.com/CBD. Higher Love Cannabis Company is the only cultivator in the UP offering organic, clean green certified products. That means quality you can trust every time. With 7 locations across the UP, including Menominee, Norway, and Ironwood, finding your higher love is easier than ever before. And for our friends in Green Bay, Higher Love is less than an hour away. Kindness starts with you. Experience Higher Love today. Visit findhigherlove.com/CBD and follow them on social media at Find Higher Love.
Catch all the action this weekend at Franklin Field as the Milwaukee Panthers baseball team takes on league-leading Northern Kentucky in a 3-game series. Friday, the Panthers host an inaugural school day event with a 3 p.m. first pitch. Then on Saturday, MKE welcomes back former players on Alumni Day. Game time is set for 2. The series concludes Sunday with Scott Duffick Day as the Panthers honor Coach Duffick in a pregame ceremony. First pitch is 1 p.m. Tickets for Milwaukee Panthers baseball are $7 and are available at mkepanthers.com. Panther Athletics for the MKE.
Suit up for the $800,000 Sports Car Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. April through May, score free play, cash, one of 4 new Toyota GR86s or a new Toyota Supra. Play with your club card to earn entries, 5 times the entries on drawing days, and when the Milwaukee Brewers play at home. Got what it takes? Slugger, only at Potawatomi. For more details, visit paysbig.com/sportscar. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
What are we doing today?
One of the employee owners has an idea.
Who is it?
Casey Goodson.
Well, hi, you must be Casey Goodson.
That's me! Casey has been with Kessler's for 22 years and became an owner 12 years ago.
We're excited to hear your idea, Casey.
I call it the One Collection.
But we've had special collections in the past.
What are you saying?
Casey, I think Rick is saying that this can't be the one collection because we've offered special collections in the past.
I'm not saying it's the first collection. It's a special collection of engagement rings for the woman that you know is the one. The one for you. The one forever. What's in it? Incredibly special rings for incredibly special women.
How much?
Most of them are between $725 and $2,800. I like it.
I like it.
Me too.
When you have found the one, you'll find her ring waiting patiently for you to come and pick it up at Kessler's.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Jesse, before we get to Whoa Nelly, 2 quick questions. One, as a purveyor of pirate talk, scallywag, pretty high on your power rankings of pirate words?
Ahoy, obviously R, but yeah, scallywag's up there. That's a fun one.
All right, and the second one, I finally got around to watching on Disney Plus the first Pirates of the Caribbean. What's the rundown again on which ones I'm supposed to avoid that aren't worth my time?
You can stop after 3.
Okay, so 2 and 3, and then quit?
Yeah. If you want to do 5, you could do 5, and I don't think you even need to watch 4 to get
skip
to 5.
4.
Yeah. 5's better than 4. 4's trash. 5 is not good, but it's a movie.
All right, so 1, 2, 3.
What a glowing recommendation.
It's
a movie.
1, 2, and 3 are incredible.
Time now for Wonelli, which may be trash or may just be a segment on the radio.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde and Tausch.
Playoff basketball tonight at Fiserv Forum. Bucks Pacers Game 2.
Where are your white shirts?
Yeah, what's the deal with it? You sent this over to us.
I did. I don't understand. So nobody's sitting here saying that you have to do this.
You kind of are, actually.
Well, people are fighting it. I don't necessarily need you to wear the shirt that they give you, because especially for bigger fellows like Jason and I, maybe won't fit. But in regards to just wear, if you're asking people like at Badger games, ask you to do the stripe.
Yeah,
out.
the red and white stripes.
It's fun. It's a good visual. The players and the organization want, and as fans, listen, you don't have to do anything. You want to show up to Fiserv tonight and help the team. You're going to be loud and raucous. That's what the fellas are asking for. That atmosphere, I've told you a million times, it helps. Energy is brought. That's why home court's that's a big part of it. And they're not asking you every time to do this. They're asking you. The players love it when you're waving those towels. Rock a white T-shirt tonight. That's it. Everybody's got one. Not like we're asking you to go get like some flannel jacket. Rock a white T-shirt, support your team, and let's go try to get a dub against the Pacers.
Has there been backlash on this? Like, I just saw they were doing a whiteout with the
people
shirt
have
giveaway.
complained.
Oh, great.
Don't tell me what to wear, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of like the wave conversation before at Lambeau. I get it. Fans should be, we're not sitting here trying to be dictators, but when they pick spots for you to try and chime in and help, if you can, do it.
Where are you seeing? I'm not questioning your reporting, but is there? I'm looking around the internet, different corners of the internet for the blowback. So there are people that are complaining about this. They want to wear their favorite blue Bucks hoodie or their favorite forest green quarter zip, and so they don't want to wear white, or they don't want to be told what to do. Like, is it all about not being told what to do? Because you would think, if you're a Bucks fan, you would want to do whatever the Bucks want.
You would not probably wear a white shirt tonight, right? You'd forget.
No, I would. I would.
But if you forgot,
if Sydney and I were going to the game, we'd be wearing what was being suggested or asked to wear. Yes,
that's all I'm asking. I think that's all anyone's asking.
So you're going to have to change if you're going to go, because that really nice blue shirt from American Family
Insurance. Yeah, I can't make it tonight, but I will be.
You're going to wear a white shirt at home?
I will be rooting for the Milwaukee Bucks in a big way tonight. I'm nervous, though. Very nervous.
Do you believe that tonight's result will significantly impact the series? Like, if the Bucks win tonight, the Bucks got this. If the Pacers win tonight, the Pacers are in the
Here's how vital I think tonight's game is. Tonight's winner wins the series.
Wow.
That's from our NBA analyst, Mark Tauscher, right there.
Yeah. Woo-wee. Do we know if and when Giannis is going to play?
Series doesn't start till somebody wins on somebody else's floor.
That's a really dumb quote, too. It's a really dumb quote.
Well, I guess George Karl won't be joining us this week.
I'm okay with that.
Whoa, Nelly! 7:30 tip at Fiserv Forum. This came up a little bit with Evan Cohen.
That's a good time, that 7:30 piece.
It's later than the normal game.
I know,
thought you
but
would
it's not bad.
That.
It's better than 9.
It is better than 9.
And then Friday they play at 4:30.
The old 4:30 matinee on Friday. I'm excited for that one, too. This came up when Evan joined us a little bit earlier in the show, Tausch, but I wanted you to elaborate a little further on this. So you sent this over. Diana Rossini tweeted from The Athletic. The New England Patriots are listening and taking calls from teams looking to move into 3. Mike Silver quote tweeted that and said, "Good for the Crafts. They are taking back their team."
Yeah, I think Mike Silver's take here, this is an ice cold take. You understand that taking back the franchise, you just won 6 championships in 20 years. People would give their... Jim Harbaugh just got a tattoo because they won 1 championship at Michigan. Take back your franchise. I love the fact that everybody is saying, you see what Jerry Jones did with the Dallas Cowboys? He took back his franchise in 96. How'd that go for him?
Not
Take
so hot.
back your franchise. You kept Tom Brady. Belichick wanted to get rid of him with Garoppolo. And now, hey, you got it. Take back your franchise. I just think that is such... Mike Silver, I think, is being delusional with his take here. Delusional.
Well, they are taking back their franchise. He's not wrong about that, right? They have taken it back from Bill Belichick. The question is, should you?
No.
Or should you let the football people make football decisions?
We'll see how
especially
good
when
of a
it's Bill
football
Belichick?
guy John Kraft is.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
He's not. If he was doing monikers, it would not say football guy. I believe you'd say third base guy.
Well, we'll see. We shall see. I don't know if it's ever worked out great for anyone when it's like, you know what? I think our owners should be more involved in the football day to day. I think Mark Murphy should be drawing up third down and red zone plays. Now, Johnny Kraft, what do you think we should run on 3rd and 6?
We got to get the Chippewa Falls.
What blitz package should we run?
Apparently they like green and gold.
By the way, there is a piece on Pro Football Talk about the opinion that Josh Harris, the new owner of the Washington Commanders, is a very meddlesome fellow as well in his new team. But again, you're right. Not as bad as the guy that
He's been the owner for like 6 months. How do we even know that yet? I haven't been through a draft with him.
Well, I'll send you some clips. Whoa, Nelly.
Whoa, Nelly!
Matt Ryan officially announced his retirement as a member of the Atlanta Falcons. He did one of our favorite things, where he announces his retirement as a member of a different organization than he last played for. This one made sense, though, with the Falcons. Jason, do you think anything for where Jordan Love is today goes differently if the Packers had listened to you and brought Matt Ryan in last year as the veteran backup quarterback instead of Sean Clifford?
No, I mean, I don't think it would have had that kind of impact. Do I think that it would have been good for him? I do. And Matt Ryan and Matt LaFleur are big fans of each other. But, again, Matt Ryan deserves all kinds of credit for being a smart businessman. If he'd have signed with the Packers, he'd have been playing for free. Because whatever another NFL team was going to pay him would be reduced from the amount of money that the Colts owed him. So instead, he said, you know who doesn't count in the offset language? CBS Sports. So he double-dipped like Ricky Jean-Francois. Now he's going to be buying Dunkin' Donuts locations next if he wants. But I do think it would have been good for them. I do think Matt Ryan would have had value in their quarterback room. But no, I don't think it would have made that significant a difference at all.
Tausch, you agree?
In the fact that he would have made some kind of difference, I think he would have helped. Jordan maybe go through some things, but Jordan did pretty doggone good without Matt Ryan. And as far as all that other stuff goes, yeah, he made smart business decisions. He couldn't retire last year. I don't have any problem with how he's handled this. And he's not, if he makes the Hall of Fame, I think we got to really reevaluate Hall of Fame.
Whoa, Nelly!
I didn't see that turn coming. Do you think he's making the Hall of Fame?
He's an MVP.
One MVP, one Super Bowl
Played in
appearance.
a Super Bowl, a couple NFC championships.
His stats are bonkers. He's got big stats.
Okay.
Whoa, Nelly!
Not a Hall of Famer, Zach Wilson.
Who had a better career, Eli Manning or Matt Ryan?
Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls.
I know.
That's not even a question.
No, I just asked it.
Would you like me to answer that? Matt Ryan, for his career, threw 381 touchdowns against 183 interceptions.
It's a good
He
ratio.
finished his career with a passer rating of 93.6. As I look up Eli Manning's numbers, do you predict that those numbers will be better or worse?
Well, I think
than
Matt Ryan's much better.
Matt Ryan, we just said 381 touchdowns, 183 picks, 93.6 passer rating. Eli Manning's career numbers: touchdowns 366, interceptions 244.
Yeah, he threw a lot of those.
Career passer rating 84.1. Won 2 Super Bowls, though.
Yeah, and their team scored, I think, 17 points and 21 points.
Mm-hmm. Good enough to win.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but I'm telling you, Matt Ryan's going to make that case. He's not going. I don't think he's going to get in, but if Phillip Rivers gets in, I think Matt Ryan has to get in.
Right? Yep, you're right about that, too. All right, that's it for Whoa Nelly. The music has run out. Jesse's run out of material. We will wrap things up after I tell you about Bucks Plus Behind the Bucks. Now, Jesse, I was looking for Bucks content last night on the drive home. In fact, I even texted my good friend Justin Garcia about it. And I was curious, all right, where can I go to get some quality Bucks content? Because it's not on the radio today. You know where I ended up? I ended up at Bucks Plus. It's great. And you were the one who turned me on to Behind the Bucks, which was really interesting. There's a bunch of different aspects to it. I will say this. It's very easy to get to it on your iPhone, so that helps when you're driving. All you got to do is tune in to Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR benefits consultant. Behind the Bucks dives deep into Bucks and Six. That's the current episode on Bucks Plus, a culture unknowingly created by former Bucks star Brandon Jennings. Take a look inside Brandon Jennings' story, the origin of Bucks and Six, how it became a rallying cry, and what it truly means to Jennings and Bucks fans alike. You can find Behind the Bucks on the Bucks.com/plus website, or in the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher. We'll wrap things up next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
We're on the Bucks.
Wilde and Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio. The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
I cannot imagine that there's any way that he missed the game because he's unhappy that the game was on turf. I think that's preposterous to me.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30.
I thought they looked great. I got to be honest, I think that's what I kind of expected from the Packers.
Presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Also sponsored by Construction Business Group and Island Resort and Casino.
And ESPN Radio Extra Point with Chris Carlin.
We talked more about Mike White because he played well than Zach Wilson in the Zach Wilson era. So think about this for a second. How about this? Evan puts this up from the 2021 NFL draft quarterback class. Is this the worst ever? This is from Ari Myroff on Twitter. You got Trevor Lawrence, who's still starting for the Jaguars, so jury's out there, right? Zach Wilson traded to the Broncos for nothing. Trey Lance traded to the Cowboys. Nothing. Justin Fields traded to the Steelers for nothing. Mac Jones traded to the Jaguars for nothing. How about that? I mean, that is a rough stretch of 4 straight quarterbacks in that draft that did absolutely zero. Holy cow.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1225. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. you may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1225. That's 800-777-1225 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1225. 800-777-1225.
A lot can happen between falling in love with a house online and owning it. Between imagining living there and breathing in your new home for the first time. Having an advocate who can help you navigate the complex world of financing, inspections, negotiating, analyzing the market, and talking through any anxieties that may pop up, that can make all the difference. That's what the expertise of a Realtor can do for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and bound by a code of ethics, because that's who we are.
I'm a waitress, so I know the difference between regular shoes and Skechers slip-resistant work shoes. Skechers slip-resistant work shoes make my job go like this. Here's your pasta primavera.
Thanks.
While regular shoes make my job go like this. Here's your pasta whoa! And that difference is why I wear Skechers slip-resistant work shoes to keep me safe on my feet. Plus, they're easy to clean and have Skechers exclusive air-cooled memory foam for comfort throughout my shift. Get America's #1 selling work shoe at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever work shoes are sold.
It started with a prediction.
Gonna go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
You're listening to Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Tausch, are you headed to Lac La Belle today? Or
not
is that
today,
not
but
to do this year?
it's as I've told you before, it's not open until May 5th, which I
missed that.
I'll tell you again about it. The birthplace of golf in Wisconsin, of course, is Lac La Belle, with a rich history you'll feel when you arrive. Experience a round at the club at Lac La Belle. The historic course is open to the public 7 days a week, starting Sunday, May 5th. Schedule your tee time today at club@laclabelle.com. You got that beautiful tree. You got the great putting green up top, the unbelievable food and event space that you have up there. Again, historic past that meets that vibrant future. Go to club@laclabelle.com to start your journey today.
Right. So where you're not going to the Bucks game, you're not going to Lac La Belle, but you are going to watch the Bucks game tonight.
What time is it at again?
7:30.
7:30 tip.
Yeah, for sure the second half.
Which is that? Is it buried on NBA TV again?
It is. Yep, we got the NBA TV special, Bally Sports Wisconsin. Lisa and Martin.
You're telling me this game with the stars that we have, and they're throwing us on NBA TV.
They wanted Timberwolves Suns on TNT.
That's not a night game?
Followed by Mavs Clippers.
Wow. What about playing us on Wednesday? Why don't we play Wednesday?
Well, they can't put us on, like...
There's other games Wednesday. There's game 2s that are Wednesday. It's not just us playing today.
So you can watch Lisa Byington, and I don't know if it'll be Marcus Johnson or Steve Novak with her on the call. You can listen to Dave Kane and our Bucks buddy Justin Garcia across the Bucks radio network. I will probably watch the game with Lisa Byington's call on television, but I'll be in the car.
World champions, MVP,
like 3 years ago.
We're going to sit here and they're throwing us to NBA TV.
Somebody's got to play on NBA TV. Yeah. They have a contract for a certain...
Championship MVP teams don't. The Cavaliers and the Magic do.
I think
not the Milwaukee Blanket Bucks that are world
without
champions.
Giannis.
I think
they don't know that.
They just look at the market size and say Bucks Pacers.
What a slap
compared
to the
to
face.
Phoenix
I don't think the
and
NBA
Minnesota.
likes the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't think they like us.
There was a time during the season where you didn't like them, or at least the way they were playing.
I still am skittish about how they play. That doesn't mean you castigate us to Siberia.
Maybe if it's
let's
better
throw
than
these
it's
guys on
NBA
TV, which is I don't even think on most cable providers. What a joke.
ESPN 8 the Ocho.
Might as well throw us on Peacock for God's sake.
Right after LaFleur and his team. All right, that's it for us today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Have a great day.
Go
Take
Bucks!
care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
At some used car retailers like CarMax and Carvana, price is a bad word. You could pay thousands more for the same used car the Ewald Automotive Group sells. Shop over 600 live market-priced used vehicles without worrying if you pay too much. Plus, we'll keep you on the road satisfaction guaranteed like we have for over 60 years. We make it easy because we service everything we sell.
Go to EwaldAuto.com.
Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a must-play every golf season. Wild Rock Golf features championship golf in the heart of Wisconsin. Wild Rock, a Herdston Fry masterpiece that's cut from the natural beauty of the Wisconsin Dells and offers stunning views from elevated tee boxes. Wild Rock presents spectacular greens that roll fast and true. Wild Rock Golf in the Wisconsin Dells, a unique gem that offers a challenge to avid golfers of all abilities. Book your tee time today for this must-play at wildrockgolf.com, wildrockgolf.com.
For over 50 years, Cousins Subs has celebrated and embraced the traditions of their home state of Wisconsin. And now, Cousins will be honoring a Wisconsin tradition like no other with their Pull Tab giveaway promo. Now through April 30th, while supplies last, guests will receive a Cousins Pull Tab with a sub or a sub in a bowl purchase for a chance to win Cousins Subs for a year and much more. For additional information and official rules, visit cousinsubs.com/pulltabs. One pull tab per customer per transaction per day. To receive a pull tab with no purchase necessary, see official rules.
Suit up for the $800,000 Sports Car Series at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. April through May, score free play, cash, one of 4 new Toyota GR86s or a new Toyota Supra. Play with your club card to earn entries, 5 times the entries on drawing days, and when the Milwaukee Brewers play at home. Got what it takes? Slugger, only at Potawatomi. For more details, visit paysbig.com/sportscar. Must be 21 and a club member to play.
Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Despite a 2-0 deficit, the 76ers are going to win their first-round NBA playoff series against the Knicks, according to center Joel Embiid. Following the 3-point loss in Game 2, Embiid told reporters they know what they've got to fix, are the better team, will keep fighting, and the Sixers are going to win the series. Embiid and his Philly teammates host Game 3 Thursday night. Clippers small forward Kawhi Leonard went through a non-contact practice yesterday, remains questionable for Game 2 against the Mavericks tonight. He's missed 9 straight games with inflammation in his right knee, including the series opening win. Bucks listing power forward Giannis Antetokounmpo is doubtful tonight in Game 2 against the Pacers with that calf strain. Milwaukee is up 1-0. Suns seek to tie up their series with the Timberwolves in Game 2 tonight. Coverage at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
This is Greeny with Mike Greenberg on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can listen and watch on the ESPN app.
And good Tuesday to you and yours. You got Chad Brown and Freddie Coleman in for Mike Greenberg. Thanks for joining us on Greeny on the mighty ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80, and always to your smart speaker to play ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. It's always cool when Chad Brown and I get a chance to do a radio show, especially today, because he played 15 years in the National Football League. Chad, I'm going to need about as much experience of going through playoff situations like we saw last night involving what happened involving the Knicks and Sixers and the Lakers and Nuggets.
I am looking forward to this, Freddie, to relay some of these playoff thoughts to you
And in the end, it's always going to be about the team that knows how to finish, as we saw last night.
No doubt about that. You can weigh in at 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. Which Game 2 loss was more devastating for whom? What happened to the Sixers in Madison Square Garden versus New York, or the Lakers out west in Chad Brownstown of Denver against the Nuggets? Because that's all a part of this.
Here we go! Only one place to start.
DiVincenzo for three in the lead. 13 seconds to go. Back-to-back threes with a steal in between. And this place is going wild.
Jumper Murray got it to hard. Denver mounts the comeback. 101 to 99 is the final. And the Lakers can take that out on the way out.
Well, all righty then. The very unbiased call on the Altitude Radio Network involving the Denver Nuggets beating the Lakers. You heard the call on ESPN Radio before that. The New York Knicks beating the Philadelphia 76ers. Third day in the last 25 postseasons. Multiple game-winning field goals in the last 15 seconds. And LeBron James was on the right side of the other instances when it happened twice before. But, Chad, I'll throw that at you. Both of these teams, the Lakers and the Sixers, now down 0-2 in games that they had won. The Sixers had a chance to have that game winning late, and the Lakers had a 20-point lead in the second half. So which Game 2 loss was more devastating for whom and why?
I got to go with my Lakers here. I think the Lakers knew it was obviously going to be an uphill climb for them to win this series. And based off of how well they played for the first three quarters yesterday, I can imagine in their heads they were thinking, okay, we can play with this Nuggets team. We got a chance to win this series. Right. And to go down and have the Nuggets really just kind of snatch the victory from them. AD didn't score any points in the fourth quarter. The last minute buzzer beater there to get the win. The Lakers got to be feeling quite devastated. Yeah. And again, for every professional athlete I've ever been around expects to win. But then you also have a little bit of reality in the back of your head. You know how much of an uphill climb it's going to be if you're the Lakers facing the defending champion Denver Nuggets. And so to lose like that, I think it just takes more wind out of their sails versus a Sixers team, which went into this series knowing they had a chance to win the series versus the Lakers knowing all things had to fall right for them to win the series.
I'm not going to say that you're wrong, but I'm going to go on the other side of that. And I know I don't want to do that to somebody who shall remain nameless, Cam Pratt, our producer, who's a Philadelphia 76ers fan, because there are people that take losses personally, and then there are cities that take losses personally when they lose to a team from a city that they can't stand. And that's where we are, Philadelphia versus New York, because everybody does not like Los Angeles on the West Coast. We get it. We understand that. But there's certain cities where it's like really a triangle of hate, Chad, when it comes to Philly, New York, and Boston. Yeah. When it involves their teams, it just magnifies itself. And if you're Philadelphia, having a 4-point lead, 5-point lead, less than a minute to play, you have a chance to sneak out of Madison Square Garden when you did not know if Tyrese Maxey was going to play. He was not part of morning shoot around, missed with an illness, and then he goes out there and he was balling out from the start, had 15 points in the fourth quarter. He was taking over things. You had that game won, and then 8 points in 27 seconds by the New York Knicks, especially when you're in that city of Philadelphia. They want to be a basketball city on that same line with New York. And if you're a Sixers team, and you lose that way, and your center, Joel Embiid, starts saying, it wasn't our fault. It was the official's fault.
You think you guys had gotten a timeout in?
I mean, everybody on the floor was trying to call a timeout, myself including Nico, coach on the sideline. But they didn't give it to us. But, forget about the timeout. There's a bunch of fouls. Like I said, that's unacceptable.
Here's the problem I have with this statement. When he said, our coach is trying to call a timeout. If you knew that, then why were you not blocking out Isaiah Hartenstein from getting the basketball for that offensive rebound? If you were looking around to call a timeout or saying that I saw my coach call a timeout, then Joel Embiid, you weren't focusing on the main thing, and that was finding a way to get the basketball or finding a way to get a play. For him to put that kind of blame on the officials, that's why I think it's more devastating, because he knew that was a situation, as hobbled as he is, having a game won and trying to find a scapegoat why the 76ers could not finish the deal, having a 5-point lead with less than a minute to play.
Well, to give my Lakers take a little bit more credibility, well, LeBron, he also had his complaints about the officiating crew. So if you're going to point out Joel Embiid as if somehow, his complaint is legitimate, and then LeBron's falls flat. He's also got a complaint. So officiating, I know we're going to get into it during the course of the show. At this point, I think almost every major sport is in a officiating crisis.
Sure.
Or at the cusp of an officiating crisis.
Okay.
And
why do you think that is?
I think the technology just makes it so easy for us at home to see exactly what happened, what could have happened.
Okay.
All those things. And in the past, there just wasn't as many cameras. We just couldn't see things as well.
Sure.
And I think also, there's a societal pushback on the man of some sort. And whether we're talking about government and governmental conspiracies, and now we're talking about officiating and league and officiating conspiracies.
Sure.
I think there's a growing sentiment of that kind of thinking. And I also think, even though I'm not a person who goes into conspiracy theories and buys into all of that, I think for me, it chips away at my respect and my deference to that group of people within each league and their ability to call a game accurately. Okay. I'm not going to say they're biased. I'm not going to say there's some conspiracy to have certain teams win or lose.
Right.
I just think that I can see their mistakes in a much more clear fashion than I ever could before, due to the cameras, due to the officiate, due to the replays, due to all that. And so it chips away at my confidence in their ability to do it over and over. And then when we see Now, Joel Embiid's got a point. I did see their coach trying to call a timeout multiple times last night.
Right.
LeBron's got a bit of a point, although the Lakers have shot 9 more free throw shots than the Nuggets have over the first 2 games.
Exactly.
And so it's a little bit of a selective kind of pointing out facts there. But I can see where both these guys are coming from. I can understand where they're coming from. Having been on the wrong side of some officiating calls as a player, I understand that. So I think all leagues have to come up with ways to increase the public perception and confidence in their officiating.
Great stuff by Chad Brown. Joining me, Freddie Coleman, in for Mike Greenberg on Greeny on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app, presented by Progressive Insurance. Insurance of motorcycles, boats, and RVs for protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. You mentioned LeBron James. Your Los Angeles Lakers had a 20-point lead in the second half. Looked like that was going to be it. They were going to break that losing streak of losing 9 in a row, and it didn't happen. And you mentioned that LeBron James had a problem with the officiating like this.
I don't understand what's going on in the replay center, to be honest. I think I said it this year or last year, whatever. D'Lo clearly gets hit in the face on a drive. What the do we have a replay center if it's going to go? It doesn't make sense to me. It makes no sense to me. It bothers me. I'm sorry I didn't answer your question, but that is like. And then I just saw what happened with the Sixers Knicks game too. What are we doing?
Okay, LeBron, what are you doing blowing a 20-point lead in the second half? But yet, and like Chad mentioned, you shot 9 more free throws than the Denver Nuggets. You had a wide open 3-point shot, wide open look after you were killing them in the fourth quarter. And you missed a 3-point shot, and then Jamal Murray made a tough shot over Anthony Davis. To me, it seems pretty weak coming from somebody of his stature to say, what are we doing, and trying to shift the focus to the officiating, not finding fault of what you were not able to do as a basketball team. You didn't have Denver Nuggets on the ropes. You had them literally knocked out. You were treating them like Haney got treated by Garcia over the weekend when it comes to boxing. You definitely had them knocked out from that standpoint. You allowed them to get up off the mat, and then they delivered the final knockout blow. And I get it, Chad. You want to make sure your team knows that you have each other's back. And, hey, it's not our fault, guys. We were playing 5-on-8 down the stretch if you're in Philadelphia or you're in Los Angeles. But the fact of the matter is, it was inconsistent officiating on both sides between the Sixers and the Knicks. It was not inconsistent officiating in favor of Denver against the Los Angeles Lakers. And you had a wide-open look, LeBron James. Wide open, the game tied, and you had a chance to put that game away. You didn't do it. And your team's up by 20 points and couldn't put them away. Didn't do it. If you're the Sixers, you had a 5-point lead. You allowed the Knicks to do to you what Reggie Miller did to my Knicks way back when the Pacers. Score 8 points in a less amount of time. So when you have those kind of responses from 2 stars, the main stars of their teams, at a certain point, handle it or be handled. they got handled last night, and they didn't like it, and they tried to find a scapegoat when it came to officiating both of those games, in my opinion.
What are we doing? All right, let me ask you this one, Freddie. There is a long-standing tradition in basketball of trying to set up the next game officiating tone.
Absolutely.
Now, typically, it's been coaches in the past who have done this. They get up to the presser and they complain about the officiating, and they're trying to get into the heads of the officiating crew. And remarkably, it seems to have worked because it is a staple in playoff basketball. So while I certainly want to agree with you that, hey, Joel Embiid, you guys had an 8-point lead. I mean, you guys gave him 8 points in 27 seconds. LeBron, you had a 20-point lead, and you found a way not to win. You found a way not to choke out the champ. Could both of these guys be playing 3D chess with us and we're just not getting it? Are their complaints legitimate, or are they trying to set up the next game tone of officiating?
Well, as somebody who had to deal with this as a Knicks fan, when Phil Jackson, the Chicago Bulls, were ruling the roost, this is exactly what he would do. This is page 1 through 800 out of the Phil Jackson playbook.
Exactly.
So I'm not going to say that that's not the case. I'll say it's more the case of LeBron James with the what are we doing. To me, Joel Embiid looked completely, I'm sure Joel Embiid's like, what are you doing? Joel Embiid looked defeated. As if to say, man, I put it all on the line, and that's what happened. The officials took this away from us. He even said after the game that they are the better basketball team after the first 2 games, even though they're down 0-2 to the New York Knicks.
Oh, man, don't say that, Joel.
No, he can say it. He's wrong to say it, especially when they were not the better team in game 1. I'll grant that they were the better team in game 2. I'll see that because
the better team won. No, it doesn't work like that. The better team won.
I'm hearing you.
Okay,
I agree with you. If he wants to say he thought the better team did not win in game 2, all right, fine. If that's how you feel, even though, come on now. As far as that goes, make plays down the stretch. Right. You had plenty of chances to make plays down the stretch. You had a chance to finish those basketball games. But to your point, Chad Brown, this is definitely part of the Phil Jackson peyote mind trick that worked for him when he's with the Bulls head coach and the Los Angeles Lakers. Watch, there'll be a more favorable official whistle when it comes to Game 3 in Philadelphia on Thursday or Game 3 in Los Angeles, because officials have conversations. Officials see things, and it's a human reaction to say, we want to make sure that we don't get in the middle of this. So how do you do that? You make sure that you go the other way a little bit more because of the Jedi mind tricks that LeBron James has been playing and that Joel Embiid tried to play last night.
I mean, we see these games. They come down. Literally, the Laker game came down to a last-second buzzer beater shot by Jamal Murray. Yeah. I just, before we go any further, his ability to step back and create space over a 7-footer, the footwork involved in that. I mean, all sports are footwork, but the footwork by Jamal Murray was just damn impressive. Damn impressive.
And he said he never saw the game-winning shot because he said he shot it and fell into the bench, and he said he heard the crowd reaction, so he said, I must have done something great. I must have won this game. He never saw the game-winning shot that he actually shot over Anthony Davis.
It was, whether he saw it or not, I saw it, and it was incredibly impressive. But my point I was trying to make here, Freddie, is these games come down to literally one possession.
Yes.
And if your ability to go up to a press conference, and while we may think it makes Joel Embiid look like a bit like a fool, and he's disconnected, and LeBron, you're not saying you were down, you had a 20-point lead, and you sound a little bit foolish here, but if you can tilt the officiating just enough to get 1 or 2 more possessions, that could be enough to win one of these games.
Well, when it comes to the Sixers,
the tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Especially from the Philadelphia 76ers standpoint, because they plan to file a grievance with the NBA over the officiating. Not just from last night, Chad. Over the first 2 games of this series, that's what a team spokesperson told ESPN. Apparently, the Philadelphia 76ers have become Frank Costanza. They don't want this Festivus for the rest of us when it comes to the officiating and the New York Knicks in this series. So they're airing their grievances. I don't know where it's going to land, how it's going to work, but they plan to file a grievance or the officiating of the first 2 games when it comes to the Sixers. That's what a team spokesperson told ESPN.
I think it even goes even further into that. Phil Jackson just planting the seed, getting the officiating crew, getting the league office to talk about this, getting all those folks together on a conference call based off of this filing of a grievance. They're just simply trying to get into the heads and let's steal a possession or two with the officiating crew. Really smart play. Super smart play.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work out for them to win in Game 3, then it'll be all for nothing with those grievances being aired by Joel Embiid of the Sixers and LeBron James of the Los Angeles Lakers, after both of those teams lost Game 2 in that kind of fashion last night in the NBA. Here's Chad Brown. Hit him on Twitter at ChadBrown94. I'm Freddie Coleman. Hit me on Twitter at Coleman ESPN. Win from Mike Greenberg today. Thanks for joining us on Greeny on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app and Sirius XM Channel 80. We are a little bit less than 2 days away from the NFL draft happening in Detroit, Michigan, but we're going to go back into the past and have the E word when it comes to a eulogy and that draft class that could affect this one coming up on Thursday. It's Green on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
What are we doing?
The NBA playoffs on ESPN Radio.
Good. Anthony Edwards with a triple.
The T-Wolves win a huge Game 1 at home against the Suns. Coverage of Game 2 begins tonight at 7 Eastern with tip-off at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on Sirius XM Channel 80. Presented by Indeed.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
I need directions for paying down debt.
Starting route. Apply for a SoFi personal loan and consolidate your debt into one fixed payment. Turn right into a positive outlook and get $5,000 to $100,000 as soon as the same day you sign with no fees required.
Got it. You could get out of high-interest credit card debt with a SoFi personal loan. View your rate at SoFi.com/debt in 60 seconds with no impact to your credit score. Loans originated by SoFi Bank N.A. Member FDIC. Terms and conditions at SoFi.com/debt. NMLS 696891.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Alex Strofe. Pack yourself in for ESPN Wisconsin's Draft Night. The draft is almost here, and ESPN Wisconsin is bringing its picks straight to you. Join us for the first round live from the Q Club of Wisconsin on Thursday, April 25th. Get ready for an unforgettable night packed with draft insights and insider info as the green and gold reloads for 2024. Hear from Wilde and Tausch, Homer and Chewy, Brian Bulaga, Gary Ellerson, John Anderson, Rob Domofsky, and more. Be there for ESPN Wisconsin's Draft Night, brought to you by the Q Club of Wisconsin.
This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my favorite go-to drink. That's Carbless. Carbless is a ready-to-drink, handcrafted vodka and tequila cocktail. Even better, it's 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 gluten, and just 100 calories. And listen to this, less carbonation. This leads to less bloat. I can indulge in something delicious without having that health guilt. Carbless is crafted right here in Wisconsin. It has a flavor for everyone, from black raspberry to cranberry, pineapple and lemon, and my favorite, margarita. Find Carbless online and at a retailer near you. Less is more.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Be Honest Bespoke Skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Evan Cohen here from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio for True Green. Are you ready to elevate your lawn game without breaking the bank? True Green has been the trusted choice for over 2 million homeowners for over 50 years. Visit TrueGreen.com and discover the easiest and affordable way to achieve a pro-level lawn guaranteed. Plus, enjoy True Green's verified price matching, ensuring you get the best lawn for the best price. Visit TrueGreen.com and transform your lawn effortlessly. That's TrueGreen.com. Your dream lawn is just around the corner.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we get you outdoors because we get you. Whether you're ready to build your dream yard or get out on the water, we get you the right products at the right prices. Like 40-pound bags of Blaine's brand wild bird food, $16.99. $5 off your choice of estate weed and feed or lawn fertilizer. Find great deals on trailers and towing, like $30 off select Kurt trailer hitches and mounts. And all Blazer trailer lighting is 15% off for rewards members. We get you outdoors because we get you at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sports book, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
The Bucks are back in the postseason for the 8th consecutive year, and it's time to fear the deer once again. We want you to be a part of the electrifying action and rally your support for the team. For all things Bucks playoffs, presented by BMO, go to bucks.com/playoffs. Stay up to date on information about team send-offs and events around the city. Get the latest updates from the team. Shop the hottest gear from the Bucks Pro Shop and snag your tickets too. Head to bucks.com/playoffs for all the details.
Your bathroom is boring and basic too. It seems like there's nothing you can do. A better bath awaits. You'll feel brand new, relaxing in a world of peace at the Bath Authority.
Hey, it's Kyle Wallace. Right now, schedule your free in-home estimate and get $1,000 off a new shower or bath, plus 36 months of interest-free financing. Restrictions apply. A better bath awaits.
You're our priority at the Bath Authority.
Here's Chad Brown. I'm Freddie Coleman in for Mike Greenberg. Thanks for joining us on Greeny on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, SiriusXM Channel 80. And don't forget to tell your smart speaker to play ESPN Radio. So who's going to have that good life at the NFL Draft 2 days from now? Round 1 in Detroit, Michigan. Rounds 2 and 3 on Friday. Rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday. Let's bring in Louis Riddick, ESPN NFL analyst. Like Chad Brown, played in the NFL, also was an administrator in the NFL, does a great job covering the NFL. Hit him on Twitter at LRiddickESPN. By the way, if you're dealing with a dead battery, head to AutoZone. They're America's #1 battery destination. They offer free battery services like free battery testing and free battery charging. Their free battery testing can help you know if you need a new battery or not, or if you're in need of a fresh charge. And if you do happen to need a replacement battery, they can help with that too. They're the only place you can find proven tough Duralast batteries. So the next time you're having battery trouble, head to AutoZone, your battery solution, and America's #1 battery destination.
Jets traded quarterback Zach Wilson and a 7th-round pick to Denver in exchange for a 6th-rounder.
There is some onus on the player, but in many ways, this is a Jets failure.
I like this for the Broncos. I mean, it costs them nothing. It's a buy low scenario. They can see if they can develop him, see what you got in him.
So, Louis, we know you'll be part of the draft coverage on ESPN and also ABC. We look at this year's quarterback class. A lot of people loving, not loving some of those quarterbacks, whether it's Caleb Williams out of USC, Jaden Daniels out of LSU, Drake May out of North Carolina, J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. But we go back to the 2021 draft class. What should that class tell us about risk and reward when it comes to addressing that position in the draft when it comes to this year, my friend?
Well, I think, Freddie, the thing that every front office is always trying to do is not always, well, obviously they're trying to get the player on the field correct in terms of the evaluation, strengths, weaknesses, what he needs to work on, what he needs to make more consistent, more repeatable, so his play can become more consistent, more repeatable. So, I mean, there's always room to improve as far as your ability to evaluate how players are able to improve once they get to your place, whether it be in your building or with private coaches and the like. But I think the more important thing, well, there's two more important things that I think that people are really always still now when you look at that draft class or any other quarterback that has failed, whether it be a singular quarterback or draft classes overall, what you're trying to improve on the most is getting the player right in terms of who he is, who are the people around him that are going to be influencing the most, what motivates him, is he intrinsically motivated, just what kind of mental horsepower, what kind of sustainability does he really have to kind of grind it out for 6 months a year when you're in season, the other 6 months still grinding it out, still trying to get better, trying to make everyone else better. Is he really dedicated to the game? Those are the areas where I think in front offices, especially in my time, and even now, that people, that's where the inexact science really comes into play, because you just don't know, because you're trying to get at the authentic individual, but a lot of times, man, these guys don't show you who they really are, and you can't really project accurately, or you misevaluate who they are going to be once you get them in your environment, which brings me to the second point. We always talk about the failures of the players as if we are, under the assumption that all 32 teams have the very best to offer every single player at every single position in terms of coaching, mentoring, development. And that's just not the case. Just talk to quarterbacks around the league who were dying, desperate for feedback in terms of how they could get better, and desperate for answers when they were on the football field, on the practice field, in the classroom, and quite honestly couldn't get them. Couldn't get them to the point where they felt as though it was helping their game. I think that's where teams really need to, from ownership, team president, general manager on down, make sure that they're self-scouting. Make sure that you really do have competent individuals in there and not just guys who happen to benefit from being buddies with the GM or the head coach and what have you. But they are the best of the best, because look, it's just too easy to sit here and say, well, you know what, 50% of these guys just bust. And that's just the nature of the beast, because some of these guys suck, some of these guys are good, and we really don't know what the hell's going to happen. We're just going to roll the dice out there. No, it's a little bit more nuanced and a little bit more detailed, and there's a little bit more under control than that. And I think a big part of that is what I just mentioned about making sure you understand who you are as an organization.
All right, Louis, so let's take that a step further. Now, obviously, you talked about the evaluation of the player, but what teams seriously do a self-scout and evaluate their ability to – it's obviously we're talking about quarterbacks because they're probably going to be the first 3 picks in this draft, to benefit that quarterback. Do we have a quarterback coach in place? Do we have somebody in the weight room who can turn this guy not to a stronger football player, but a more flexible athlete who can withstand the punishment of that position? All these critical pieces along the way. What percentage of teams do that kind of self-scouting? Not the player scout, their own self-scouting about their organizational ability to elevate this guy and make him a better player? Yeah,
that's a great question. I think in my time, the best way I can answer that for you, Chad, is to say, look, in my time, the people who I've been around, I'll just point to the guy who I know does this kind of self-scouting the most. And it hasn't been perfect, but he damn sure has made the adjustments and learned from the things that he didn't quite get right, to where right now he's the standard as far as tie-in between coaches, front office, weight room, training room, and then ultimately what happens in terms of the performance on the field. And that's Andy Reid in Kansas City. Okay, I saw him in Philadelphia bring along Donovan McNabb, work to develop Kevin Cobb, bring in Michael Vick, move on to Kansas City, bring in Alex Smith, coach Alex Smith to have his best season of his entire career, build the quarterback room in order to make sure that Patrick had a very stable environment between him, Doug Peterson, Matt Nagy, Eric Bieniemy. Then, if you branch it out, having that relationship with Brett Veach, who's now the general manager, who looks at his scouting department and his scouting staff and says, do I have the best people in the most critical areas of the country to make sure that we are getting the best evaluations on these players? When we bring them in-house, are they getting the best in terms of weight training, nutritional advice, treatment in the training room, who I know the people down there in Kansas City. I know that Rick Burkholder, who heads the training room down there, is second to none, and that they are constantly evaluating all of those things, how it affects the players on the football field, making sure that these guys are good physically, they're good mentally, they're good at home, they're good once they come into the building. If they're not good when they get in the building, how can we help them get better once they get in the building? And you see it manifest itself in, over the past 2-3 years, their rookie classes have really, besides Patrick Mahomes, who obviously is one of one, their rookie classes, their young guys have taken hold of this franchise, this football team, and they are set, man. They're set for the next 5, 6, 7 years. And Brett's going to have to make some tough choices about which one of these young guys that they've been able to bring in under their umbrella and really benefit from the program that they have in place, which one of these guys that they're going to sign, which ones are they going to let go, like they just did this year with L'Jarius Sneed, who they couldn't afford to keep, but they have a bunch of young guys who they drafted, brought in, developed, took care of, and now they've become critical players. I think that team right now, from A to Z, is the one that really people need to look at and go, what has Andy got going on between him, the football operation overall, the general manager, that is allowing them to not – it's not just the Patrick Mahomes show, although we know it starts there. There's so many good things going on and going right down there. I think that's the team. I mean, look, Green Bay obviously is doing a fantastic job. San Francisco has a hell of a setup out there. I know some of the people who work out. They have a heck of a setup. In the AFC, look, Brandon Beane does a fantastic job. Ozzie Newsome, Eric DeCosta in Baltimore do a fantastic job of bringing guys in and taking a holistic approach to developing those guys. There's a couple, and here's the other one right now. Right now, just make sure, Nick Caserio and D'Amico Ryans, what they got going on in Houston right now, Houston all of a sudden has become a destination spot for people. And there's a reason why. They like how the players play and how they respond to the culture that they have now. Not the one that they had a couple of years ago that we were all ripping apart, but the one they have now. Because they did look internally. D'Amico did get some things changed around there. Those are the places you got to watch and keep an eye on.
And that's a big reason why Andy Reid, General Manager Brett Veach, and President Mark Donovan got extensions to keep him with the Kansas City Chiefs for more than a little bit longer. Louis Riddick, ESPN NFL analyst, joining Freddie Coleman and Chad Brown, and for Mike Greenberg on Greeny on ESPN Radio. Real quick, Louis, before we let you go, if I say this team is the most intriguing team picking the top 10 of the draft, who is that team according to you and why?
Intriguing team picking the top 10. I think for me right now, it's definitely Washington because of the fact that I'm just wondering if they're just going to go ahead and make the no-brainer pick to me, which is Jaden Daniels, or is there something going on there between them, Jaden and them, that maybe they don't feel fits them just right? Are they, look, and I know, Adam Peters brought in all these quarterbacks, within a week of the draft, and wanted to get one final look at them, one final evaluation in terms of what kind of person they were. Like that, to me, I've been involved in that kind of situation where when you're taking it up to the 11th hour like that, it's simply because there isn't a consensus yet. You aren't quite 100% sure what you want to do with your pick. We did it in 2004 when we drafted Sean Taylor, where we literally flipped the board the day of the draft between number 1 and number 2, and we moved Sean from 2 to 1.
Right.
So that's the most intriguing one for me. I don't know if it's a slam dunk with Jaden right now. And that is intriguing as hell to me, considering the fact that I think he should go number 1 overall. So we'll see.
No doubt. Hey, Louis, enjoy the draft. Always a pleasure, my man. Take care and be well.
Thanks, Louis.
Of course. Thank you.
Great stuff about Louis Riddick, ESPN NFL analyst. Hit him on Twitter at LRiddick ESPN. Joining Freddie Coleman and Chad Brown and for Mike Greenberg on Greeny on ESPN Radio, presented by Progressive Insurance. You can save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. You can do that by visiting Progressive.com. By the way, Jaden Daniels from LSU, -5 on ESPN bet now to go number 2 overall to the Washington Commanders. And that's why we had the 2021 draft class that we kind of compared it to, Chad, with Louis Riddick, because we saw the 49ers did trading up giving away a haul for Trey Lance. They didn't keep that mistake in the building. The Jets overdrafted a guy by the name of Zach Wilson, and it turned out they didn't keep that mistake in the building. They couldn't keep that anymore. They traded the Denver Broncos yesterday. It's amazing how, and you made this point before we got started, so many teams don't look at past mistakes and say, be careful, because they don't believe, according to you, Chad, I thought you were spot on with it, they don't believe that's going to happen to them.
Yeah, I'm a smart guy. Everyone else is dumb. I got this whole thing figured out. I can't believe those other 31 teams are as foolish as they are. It's amazing that these mistakes happen every single year. And, Lewis just broke down the multitude of factors of why some of these guys aren't successful. And it's more than just that the player sucks, so they misevaluate the player. Mm-hmm. But it's human nature. When something goes wrong, we want to look outside of ourselves.
Right.
And a football organization is run by human beings. In some cases, human beings with tremendous egos. You think I've yet to meet this humble billionaire. You know what I'm saying? I've yet to meet this head football coach who's just the humblest guy on the planet. There's a certain confidence and swagger that comes with that elevated status in life. And so they are obviously going to look outside of themselves as to why this failure happened. It's because of the player. It's because he wasn't mature enough, because the scouting department didn't dive deep enough into his background to find his true football IQ, as opposed to looking in within the organization. Did we give this kid the best chance for success with everything that we did? If you're going to expend the draft capital. Now, the salary cap, the rookie salary cap, has made the salaries more digestible than they ever have been in the past.
Right.
But with the draft capital, when you are drafting in the top 5, hopefully you're not there very often. And when you're going to use that pick, it seems like you would have this overwhelming obligation to ensure that every piece of your organization is buttoned up, and far too many teams make the pick without the self-scout of themselves within that process.
And that's what leads me to Zach Wilson. As much as he did not succeed in New York, the New York Jets did not do him any favors, because to me they overdrafted him and then anointed him the starter, not knowing exactly what kind of organizational structure was going to be necessary that had to involve him being successful, dealing with everything that the New York media and that the New York City area is going to be. The minute that he looked overwhelmed, they kept trying to push that through, and they did not give him the proper resources to improve upon himself to overcome that situation. So he became a New York nightmare, because the Jets should not have drafted him that high in the first place, and they didn't do him any favors, in my opinion, by making sure that he could be a better quarterback. They just insisted. He's the face of our franchise. He's the guy that we decided over a Trey Lance, over a Mac Jones, over a Justin Fields. Those guys went after Zach Wilson. They were hell-bent on proving to people they were right, and did not do right by Zach Wilson, put him in better situations where he could be a better quarterback, despite being overdrafted at number 2, in my opinion.
Lack of confidence is just like any other injury you can have to your body. It affects the way that you play. It affects your way that you can rebound from a bad play. And when I see coaches continue to push people out there who are lacking in that eternal sense of confidence, and they don't do things during the week to build that up,
right,
they're doing a disservice to these guys. You're just eroding away at that person's mental psyche and their mental toughness in those moments. And you don't give him any chance for success, any chance to recover from that.
Right.
So, yeah, to your point, Freddie,